Oh god, I hope that wasn't the British consul.
Writer, it was.
Welcome everyone to this episode of the Cheap Seat Critics podcast, where we're on the final installment of the Narnia trilogy, being Voyage of the Dawn Treader. With me today, we have...
Hello everybody, I'm one of your hosts, a geeky writer.
I'm Crimson Maroon.
And I'm Sprinks, and returning for the third time in a row, very special guest, the riveting rival of Retribution, the honorable hero of Hot Pot, the crowned blood of Golife.
KyeLaris. Hello.
There we go.
And socials.
Oh shoot! Yeah. Sorry, yeah. Kyle. Hey, if you're on the Dawn Treader, you can find us over on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, LetterBoxd, average out graphs of everything we've done and covered. TikTok. I seem to always forget the TikTok. We have visual side of things on YouTube, Rumble, and Spotify. But if that's not your cup of tea, don't worry, because there's tons of other platforms out there as well you could listen to us from, where you could be listening to right now. But right now is the intro. And we're back from the intro.
That was surely right now.
Well, it was then.
I guess so. Timey-wimey.
Don't Spaceballs me.
I'm sorry,
Alright.
what?
Yeah, Spaceballs me. When will then be now? Soon.
I don't remember well enough.
Okay.
So, as mentioned, we're closing out Narnia. Another trilogy in our pockets. We're going to be done with it. I'm so sad. So sad. So, we'll go
Hopefully
with our
no
histories
controversies
first.
about Mr. Tomness this time. That will be...
I mean,
Don't.
there might be some
he in this
celebrations.
movie?
There's not even imagery of him this time. Who knows? Or actually, maybe there was. I don't remember.
Of course you wouldn't remember.
I know. It's been like all of 5 minutes since I watched it. Yeah. Histories. Let's start with a writer.
Yeah, so I have the shortest history of this one. This is the movie I heard about but never went to watch. I was a huge fan of the first two Narnia movies, but I don't really remember... I don't really remember what was going on in my life to, like, make me want to avoid seeing this film, or... Because I don't think it wasn't intentionally... I wasn't intentionally avoiding it. It just never came up for an opportunity for me to see it. So this is actually a first-time viewing for me for the podcast.
And you only really knew of it. You never saw it, like the poster or anything of it. Didn't know anything about it.
I remember seeing a trailer in theaters, but yeah, I don't even remember seeing much of. I don't remember seeing the poster for it or anything outside of that.
Never read the book.
I only read the Magician's Nephew, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and Prince Caspian. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a huge fan of C.S. Lewis's writing, so they weren't exactly page turners for me. But I did try to read
Well, at least
them.
they're small books.
Yeah.
Oh, the next one would have been what? The Horse and the Boy or something?
Something like that. Right. Writer, you can sit back while Spriggs says his, as I correct myself.
Yeah, I was raising my eyebrows there for a second.
Yeah. Let's begin with my histories. Prince Caspian video game sucks. Oh shoot. I haven't played a video game of Voyage of the Dawn Treader. I don't know if there is one. I've seen this movie in theaters. I think that was my first introduction to this movie, seen in theaters. I've seen it 5 times, my best guess. And I haven't read any of the books. In case this is, audience, if this is your first time, if you only are here to listen to Voyage of the Dawn Treader and you didn't want to listen to the previous 2. So, I think that's it. Oh, this is probably my first introduction to... I should be more professional and know the actor's name, but the guy who plays Eustace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gilly? Is that his name?
That's the name of a character. I don't know.
I think that's him in Maze Runner.
Yeah.
He
Right,
is.
I'll go with
Runner.
my...
I forgot about that.
Yes, he is. My history, I've seen this 2 times and 14 minutes and 30 seconds approximately. I may have attempted to rewatch it for the podcast and didn't make it. Um, Excluding that, I don't remember the first time I saw this. It's probably at my house, and it was most likely on TV. And that is it. It's very short and sweet and to the point. I've not read the books, as Spriggs also mentioned.
Will
all right.
Poulter.
There
Yes.
you go. Will Poulter.
Adam Warlock.
Yes. I guess the more relevant recent stuff. All right. And Kai, your history.
um, I think the first time I watched this movie was on Disney Plus after it had been added to it. Because I didn't hear much about it when it was being advertised. I don't even remember seeing a trailer for it, to be honest. And I haven't watched it that much. I'm probably around the amount of times that Sprinks has watched it, which would be about 5 times. It's not my favorite.
Wonder if
Interesting.
that'll be a common sentiment across the board here. We'll find out during the coverage.
Now I gotta look up, when did Disney Plus start?
A while ago at this point.
Mm-hmm.
When did The Mandalorian come out? Because they were kind of launched together. Because Mandalorian came out in like
WandaVision.
2019.
2019.
After
Yeah.
Endgame.
Yeah, 2019. So in the span of roughly 6.5 years, averaging about, to that Kai, you've seen the movie once per year.
Well, it's actually 4
well-
times in 1 year and then once for the podcast.
Got it.
Yeah, I guess. Because I'll usually go through and watch all of the Narnia movies, and I always kind of I don't watch them all like in one day. They're usually kind of spaced out, and I always wait the longest to watch Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
Trying to divorce it as much as possible.
I try.
The first two.
I know how that feels. That's how I feel with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies.
Boo. Anyhow, speaking of Crimson Hot Takes, I like the third Spider-Man movie.
I like aspects of it.
Sandman. Love Sandman.
I feel so.
Right.
I know I've seen stuff from the third Spider-Man movie, but I'm actually still not sure if I've actually seen the movie in full.
That's a bit
What's
wild.
up
Like
with you and
Tobey
trilogies,
Maguire.
man?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's I mean for Spider-Man, the Raimi trilogy, I was young. I had to go with a parent to go see the film, so that one's kind of on my mother at the time, and I just didn't have interest, I guess, when I was old enough to do that.
Hmm.
Yeah, but yes, I agree. My trilogy experience is very wild.
Into the facts that I found, we'll start with the budget of the film. It had a budget of 145 million and a box office of, if I can read my handwriting, 415.7 million.
Okay.
So not a flop.
Hmm.
Actually, probably enough to have warranted another one if they wanted.
Well,
They did not
by
go
the,
that route.
the end of this movie kind of tells you the kids are done.
Pretty much.
I mean,
Except
so,
Eustace. Yeah.
I mean, like, so the story of the Pevensies in the books, I know they go on to do like, it gets really weird for the Pevensies in the books. So I would have a hard time adapting the others into movies, at least to the scale of like what they're trying to do with these three.
I mean, they certainly stretched it a little bit to get the older siblings involved in this one.
Yeah.
And into the more interesting facts, there were a lot for this film. Maybe I'll sprinkle some throughout if things become relevant. But, I'll start with when Susan's writing the scene while she's writing in America, there's a picture of the Pevensies on the desk. That is a behind-the-scenes photo from the previous film that they decided to add. It's kind of like a little Easter egg. The main cabin of the Dawn Treader has a map of Narnia and paintings of places in Narnia on the walls. Cashban, the capital of Calormen, and a city visited in the Narnia book, The Horse and His Boy, is frequently shown.
Oh shoot, I missed that movie.
I know. Book nods. Right. Georgie Henley, who played Lucy, once got to duck during a sword fight and got a black eye as a result.
Ooh,
Ouch.
ow.
Did they have to do like a pause on production or cover it with makeup?
Well, I mean, imagine it was covered in makeup because I saw no black eye.
It wasn't the Viggo Mortensen thing where like half his face is bruised, that he just didn't film half his face for that day.
Or Tom Cruise continue filming with a broken ankle? I think that was
Exactly.
missions 3? Missions 4? One of them.
Probably 4.
Yes, I think it's 4.
In the opening credits for the first 2 films, co-produced with Disney, the skipping stone for Walden Media credits sequence skips towards the audience. In this film, co-produced by 20th Century Fox, the stone skips away from the audience.
Yes,
I don't know why the
believe
difference.
the stone usually always skips away, I think. At least in my head. But I do think of, I guess, when Walden Media is ever brought up, this is the logo I remember the most. The transition to the stained glass.
Interesting. I don't really have any memory ties to Walden. And the original intention was that Mirez would briefly reprise his role as a hallucination by the Green Mist, Mirez being the main bad guy in the previous film. And this would be the realization of Caspian's worst fear, as his uncle would taunt him, much like the White Witch appears to intimidate Edmund, so that they would feel weakened. It was decided late into production they should switch the character, and Caspian's father would be the apparition. The filmmakers hesitated because Caspian's father was a completely unknown face and would render the audience confused. They finally persevered with their second choice and went on to substitute Mraz with his brother once they decide with his father. What?
Well, Mir's brother is his
Yeah,
father.
Mir's his brother. Yep. Sorry, confused with my own writing. Decided with the ultimate fear of Caspian with that he could never live up to his father's reputation as king. Blah blah blah. I sound like I can't read. Lovely.
What else
Words
We've
is
all
there?
been there. It's okay.
Yeah,
I've barely been awake today.
that is true. It is quite early for you and I.
I am sorry.
Oh, it's
No
fine.
worries.
7 a.m., the usual morning lineup. I think Mirez would have been better
Mhm.
Absolutely agree.
to show the villains of the 2 previous movies.
I
Well, I think it would be
agree. Within the context of these the film trilogy, I do think Miraz would be better.
Mhm.
The water tank that they used for the film, because it was not filmed in the ocean. Springside, no, you probably would ask because you've asked in other movies. Um, so the tank they used in this was also used in the Titanic and Master and Commander: The Far Side of the World.
One
Fancy
of those is a
that.
really good movie.
Yeah, Titanic.
Oh, I thought you liked Master and Commander.
Jack, never let go.
Yeah. The joke is I'm throwing shade at Titanic. That's one of my hot takes, I guess. Not saying it's a bad movie, but
You've seen Titanic, but you haven't seen Spider-Man 3.
yeah, I know. I
There's
have a very
there's
wild
something wrong
filmography.
here.
All right.
I don't know if I'd equate the two, to be fair.
No, they're not really comparable. But
Other than Titanic's 3 hours and Spider-Man 3's the third one. There's your 3
Titanic is
connection.
so long, it had to be 2 VHS tapes.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I had both VHS tapes as a kid.
Wow.
My
Let's
parents
rewind
went
them
and
Titanic as
saw
a kid?
my parents went and saw Titanic at a drive-in while my mother was pregnant with me.
Oh,
Wow. So it's a core memory for you then.
Uh-huh.
All right. I think we'll leave it there. Like I said, I'll probably sprinkle more if it becomes relevant. Any other facts you
I
guys want to present?
I don't have one because I didn't look it up, but I hoped you would have it, Crimson. So I'd like to ask
Uh,
if you do have it. How much did Tilda Swinton get paid to be back?
shoot. You did ask me that. I
She's
forgot
on
to
the
look into that.
cover of the movie.
I'll look it up while we're covering so you get an answer.
I mean, she
So
does
now at the
more in
moment,
this one, I think, compared to the last. Well, actually, I think it's about the same.
It's about
She's
I
the
think
more
I,
screen time than Peter in this movie.
that is very true.
yeah.
same. Poor
I
Peter.
think I prefer her cameo in Prince Caspian, though. I think that one's a little more frightening.
Well, that one's a cameo. She has 3 scenes in this movie, which I would say is more than a cameo.
And also say more relevant. The other one fell shoehorned. But this is coverage talk. Any other facts other than Tilda Swinton's question?
I got nothing.
I do not.
No. All right. Then we'll jump into the coverage. We are doing a popcorn structure. You can jump around anywhere. You can even start with the credits if you'd like. I don't know why you would, but you can. And we will start with Sprinks.
Boy, well, I like to make sure my notes are consistent, so I usually do linear, so I don't forget something. So I guess we can start with something we were very questionable about in the second movie, coming after the first one. Time in the real world and in Narnia do not match.
This is
They
absolutely
don't line up.
abysmal in this film.
They've
Because,
gone 253 days, or no, they've been with Eustace for 253 days.
yeah.
And Narnia it looks like the next day.
It's been a week.
Somewhere we talked
Caspian grew
about,
some facial hair. Okay, it's been a week.
well, 1,300 years passed from the first to the second movie in 1 year in human world. So this isn't
And
correct.
in this one, Edmund and Caspian mentioned it having been 3 years.
Yes,
That's right.
for the Narnia change. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is still inconsistent with
So is it not?
Yeah.
1,300.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
No,
is
no,
it
I
not
agree.
one to
It's
one matched? Is what they're depicting? And it's like when Aslan opens a gateway, it can be any point in time upon Aslan's choice.
that's
That would make more sense.
I feel like
I.
that's what it's kind of doing.
It has to be the fact that Aslan can open up a portal whenever and wherever to get to a specific point of time in Narnia.
But
When the Pevensies did.
yeah, the weird thing though is why does it take so much time in the human world then to get to Narnia? Like if this one took, 253 days for 3 years in Narnia, why couldn't it have been like the second day? If we know in the
Because
second movie that it takes, 1300 years.
Aslan loves terrorizing the people of Narnia, so he waits till it gets to its worst before he brings in the Pevensies.
Well, too, I think it's because of what the Pevensies have to go through in the real world before they're ready to go back to Narnia.
So they have a lesson to be learned.
Essentially.
That would be kind of my interpretation of what like Peter was going through at the start of Prince Caspian. Like he's becoming more arrogant, and I have some issues with how Peter's depicted in that film. But the intention is
Mhm.
that like he forgot to be humble, so he's being dragged back into Narnia to be taught that lesson. So there is
Mhm.
I can see some credence to what you're saying, Kai, with that.
Because at the start, Edmund's trying to enlist and join the military.
Yeah, he's trying to find
Yeah.
purpose, and then we also have Lucy,
Go
who's
back to
also
war.
like jealous of her sister as well.
Mhm.
And that's
He
kind
wants to
of
do more than point a sword in a battle.
Yeah, wants
Yeah.
to
He
shoot
should
his
have.
gun.
He should have just used the
Yeah.
archers more. Honestly, Just-
I was trying to think of a
Mm.
Leave It to Beaver joke, but nothing was coming up.
All right. Kai, do you want to jump us somewhere?
Oh, Eustace and his notes.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first time we were introduced to Eustace, he's writing in a notebook about Edmund and Lucy and how much he hates them and wishes he could put them in a jar.
I wish they were like bugs.
Eustace is a troubled child.
yeah. As a first time introduction to Eustace for me, I was really worried that he was going to ruin the movie for me.
No, he gets an
Oh,
arc.
He
he
does.
does. He gets a bit of a redemption arc there, but he's for the majority he is annoying and complains about everything.
Yeah,
Once he gets
and I
turned
think
into a
that's
dragon, I actually really like I like him.
because he shuts up.
Oh, once he,
Because
yeah.
He does kind of take the role of Edmund from the first movie,
Yes, very much so.
as
Although-
Edmund's
Yeah.
kind of now in the place of Peter.
A bit more whiny.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, he does. The film doesn't do us a lot to endear us to Eustace, though, compared to the way it does try to endear us at least a little bit to Edmund during what he goes through in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Mm.
And it's
It
not
appears
that
to
I
be on
think.
board this boat as sharing the same hallucination.
I do think that more. This kind of tracks into my point a little bit with my broader point with Eustace. He definitely detracted from the film for me for a large portion of it. And it's there's a multitude of reasons that go into that, but I think I was I it took I think half an hour to 45 minutes before I felt like, okay, this movie, there's something here that's good. I was just kind of waiting for us to get there. That was a problem.
Oh, yeah,
Careful with the
the
word problem.
painting being the portal was pretty cool. I think that was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
It is definitely one of my favorite, and it's probably, well, I was gonna say it's definitely one of my favorite. I only have really three to compare to.
Yeah.
I think I do like it. It's a unique way to transport them to the other world. I also like the painting quite a bit.
the painting. I guess the first one, the wardrobe, is the only one by choice you can choose to enter. The train
Yeah.
and the painting are forced.
Yep. And the wardrobe was more voluntary.
Yeah,
It is interesting. Because in the previous one, they were called by Caspian and Susan's Horn. In this one, it's just, we want you now. We saw
Well, is this one
Eustace is
called by
locked in the room.
Aslan?
We'll fill it with water.
yeah. That's kind of what I got. That Aslan called
Mhm.
him because they're like, "Oh, what's the problem now?" And Caspian's like, "Oh, I didn't call you. I don't know why you're here."
Yeah, I have to make the assumption that Aslan is the one that called them. Like, I mean, it's not without reason. I think there is intention behind more so Lucy's arc than Edmund's arc, but there is some lessons for the Pevensies to be learned, and obviously Eustace needs to have a quite a big character arc.
Yeah. That's putting it lightly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a
I
bit of
guess
a brat.
with that, I can
Yeah.
I can piggyback, which I don't know how hot of a take this is. I prefer Eustace's arc in this movie than Lucy's.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. I think Lucy's storyline in this movie is very dull, which is unfortunate.
It's
I think
I would
I would
say
probably agree with that.
I would say Lucy's arc is very archetypal because there's a level of like, in a lot of children's stories, at least female characters, one of the central themes with them is often that they it's like they have to go through an arc of trying to find beauty within yourself, not necessarily external beauty. That's so Lucy's arc definitely felt more archetypal to me. I'm really glad they decided to tie Reepicheep to Eustace's arc, though, because I don't think I would have
Hmm.
enjoyed his arc otherwise.
Yes, to give him a Narnian to believe the fantasy and the change in world to tie to is
Mhm.
nice. But
Yeah,
Lucy's just kind of narrowed down to me of like, oh, I'm ugly because my sister's beautiful. Beauty's on the inside. That's it.
Well, she's learning to love herself. That's what it boils down to.
and to push that upon Gale,
Yeah.
the best character in this.
Yale.
Which that character is in the book, but that character was never named, so they made up a name.
Oh,
for the
okay.
film.
It took me a second. I know who you're talking about now.
The little girl who snuck
Yeah,
on board because her
Yeah.
mom
the
got taken.
stowaway.
Yeah, and then her father who volunteered, who was hardly relevant at all.
Yeah. Rince. Is that his name?
Yeah.
And
Had no clue. Father.
I don't know what my notes say. Hellenane? Hellenane? Is
Hmm.
the wife?
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think I wrote down their names. It was Gale
Well, I think
thinking
the
she'd be
dad's name
relevant, and
is
she
said
was not.
once.
It is.
Yeah.
I would say
When
Gale
they're
is
reunited.
yeah. Gale is again not really a character. She's a tool to exposit the fact that Lucy has gone on her arc and finished it more or less.
Yeah, a way to see
To
her previous self and someone else.
yeah, to not
See how she
compare
grew.
herself to her sister because she's a different person.
I want to be just like you, Lucy.
That was a very
And
good
Lucy wants
impression.
to
No,
be like her
child,
sister.
no. Yeah. Thank you, thank you. Been working on it all of 30 seconds ago.
30 seconds. Wow, you really have been working on it.
Yeah. Dedication.
Something I think the film does, being the third in the franchise of these films, is knowing people are here to see Narnia. I think
Mm.
being how fast it gets to Narnia. Each movie seems to get faster and faster entering Narnia.
Yeah, I mean,
So this one does have a prologue, but I feel like it would have been nice maybe fleshed out.
I feel like each one has less and less to establish. The first one's establishing their world. The war's going on. They're kind of orphaned in a way.
and we have to
And
establish
they're in
their
a new
characters
place.
too.
And then in Prince Caspian, we have to get established to this new faction of the humans and that whole storyline. And then in here, there's not really too much to establish other than the starting point of their character progression and introducing Eustace. So I think they did enough, but you are correct that each one's getting shorter.
Which overall is fine. But it does feel like people are here to see Narnia. Let's give them Narnia.
Mm.
And did we get to see much of Narnia?
I think it's
Not-
more grand Narnia than the second movie.
Yeah,
Uh,
because you're not seeing a lot of
I disagree.
the Narnia that you're used to.
We see a map of Narnia. I think they say that explicitly that they've left Narnia's territorial waters at a certain point in the film.
Yeah.
Unless they consider
And
like
also
the
Narnia's
whole world
expanding.
Narnia, but
No, that Narnia is kind of like I guess a territory. Because they brought up, shoot, I have no idea where in my notes it is.
yeah.
But they pretty much took over two other territories.
Yeah.
One
Look,
of
I
them
didn't
by
even know
war.
Yeah, I didn't even know these factions were a problem.
Narnia now has peace.
Yeah.
Would it
Through
be
war.
thought? Would it be thought that the two other factions are humans? Being the belief
They
in the second
specify
movie
one's
was
the
that
giants,
the Narnians
though.
were extinct.
Yeah, one's
They
giants.
specify
The other
one's-
one's, I
yeah.
think, trolls or something. They
Oh,
were
so
specified
both are
species.
Narnian.
Well, depends on what you define as Narnian. And like we said, is
I'm just getting-
Narnia the planet, or
Well-
is it a territory?
Well, I'm just getting at the second movie saying like Narnians were extinct. So
Yeah,
did they not, like, they just stopped their broadening of their borders.
Well, it's because
If
Yeah,
the
the
Telmarines view
factions here in
themselves
3
as their
years.
own thing.
yeah. I mean, I also see. I also have the same world building complaint as Sprinks, because Narnians were extinct for over 600 years or something, for centuries. By the time Prince Caspian escapes Miraz's castle, and then we jump 3 years, and the entire continent is just swarming with them.
Yeah, I'm like, were they in hiding the whole time? But the battle against the Telmarines and Caspian winning, the word of that spread out for people to come out of hiding?
That's my
I would
best
think
faith
so.
interpretation, but it still presents a world building dichotomy problem for me.
It's just a little thing skipped over. Actually, it's kind of one of those instances where this may have been better if they didn't say that, rather than adding a line, take it away.
Hmm.
Suppose they could. I don't think it's as damaging as you're kind of leaning towards. Or
No, I don't think
yeah,
it's
I
as
guess
damaging. It's not severe, but I guess I do have it as like a nitpick because
because the
it's the
only
it's a thing we've done with Twilight, where it does then go into the previous film by adding it.
the only thing that I have going against it is I don't get why the Telmarines or whatever would think creatures are gone. I think that would be my biggest hit for that. Because I would imagine they would have expanded it into those other territories or something and would have seen giants or whatever the other faction was.
It, yeah, like I said, the world building for Narnia is made more confusing by this. I'm thinking of like the line of how the Telmarines don't cross a certain line of trees into a forest, but I don't know if that forest is included in Telmar, or if like the Telmarines just rule all of Narnia. And I'm leaning towards that they technically rule all of Narnia uh the from the previous film, because they sacked Cair Paravel apparently many years ago, which implies that
Yeah,
they did have an expansive empire in Narnia.
And they had 7 lords, which presumably would spread them out for their own territories, as lords do. So it's a little gray.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Somewhere you want to go, Ryder?
Sure. I will jump to um I Reepicheep has a new voice actor, I think.
Simon Pegg. Correct. Yes, different.
Yeah. I like
That
Simon
was
Pegg. I
Simon
don't.
Pegg.
Yeah.
It was Simon Pegg.
Yeah. I was gonna say I
Wow.
like Simon Pegg. I think this might be his worst role.
They just made him too yappy in this. I think they overdid Reepicheep.
Yeah, I mean, because he fundamentally bounces off of Eustace's character arc. I think the voice change. It's I don't know the reason behind it, but it does bother me in the sense of there was no consistency. And it's only been 3 years. I probably would have bought it if they had been a 10-year jump, if that makes sense, a little bit more.
Yeah, more age into the years.
Yeah, I. It
Uh,
was just a weird. It was a weird decision that didn't bug me writing wise. It just bugged me like trying to watch the movie the first time.
Ryder, I had that same thing, but not with Reepicheep. There's another character who
with
got their voice changed. Caspian.
oh yes, Prince Caspian is
His
no
Spanish
longer
flair is gone.
Spaniard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I miss it. His Spanish flair was like amazing in Prince Caspian movie.
yeah. I guess to double fact on you guys. So the reason Reepicheep had a different voice actor is the original person didn't want to return, thinking their voice got too deep for the role. So it was a personal choice on their part. And then Caspian, it was the director. The director said Caspian would be better without the accent, even if it is
Oh,
inconsistent with the character.
It's one of the
that's
many
all.
wrong decisions that this director made. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I guess it makes it easier for Caspian's actor, I guess.
Ben Barnes, I think he did great in Caspian, in Prince Caspian.
I think so too, but I'm not a Spaniard, so I don't know if he butchered it in some fashion. Don't know. But I do kind of prefer it because it makes it a little bit more unique. Kai, you want to do another point?
Well, I actually liked Reepicheep in Voyage of the Dawn Treader. He was my one saving grace, okay?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
What about
love the
that Minotaur,
character.
though?
Yeah.
I liked the witty chatter and comebacks and stuff that he had in this film compared to not having as much in Prince Caspian. It felt like they expanded a bit more on his character, and I really liked it.
He
Put
is
back that orange.
far more swashbuckling in this one.
I actually agree with that, Kai. I do. I have may have had issues with the voice of Reepicheep. I actually like all the stuff they do with him. They didn't write for him. He's
Mhm.
definitely comes across as a more swashbuckling hero, and it helps it too that he was a fan favorite coming out of the second film. So
Yep.
it does help to ground you, I think, in this one as well. Who who better
He
to
grew a
teach
lot
Eustace
larger
how to
in
be
this, right?
what?
Oh,
Um,
I feel like he's a lot bigger in this than in the previous film.
I think he is bigger,
Seems like
but
the
it's not
size of an
too
otter
big.
now, not the size of a rat. Oh, he is a magic
Um,
rat, so who knows?
Could have been the
rats
breath to the tail that Aslan put in him. Made him
rats
mightier.
can rats can get pretty big,
Especially
especially being
magical ones.
a field rat, which I'm assuming that's the kind of rat Reap is. They get pretty big.
Yeah, I had a friend who had pet rats and pet mice. They got pretty big because I think some of them were also field mice and field rats. So I do think he is bigger, Crimson. I didn't necessarily take issue with it.
Yeah, that was my 2 cents.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, to add on because before I got rudely cut off by my co-host.
Yep, I cut you off.
Before I forget it, I actually one of the things I really liked about Reepicheep is I think Reepicheep is the perfect character to pair with Eustace because he is a an archetypal hero character that Eustace really needs to be as a mentor because he already is brave. He already is all those things that Eustace deep down wants to be. And I think Reepicheep's the perfect character to bring it out of him because he turns what's essentially supposed to be punishment into a training session. And I was very close to I was very worried about that scene at first when Reepicheep's like, gives him a blade to duel with him. And then I was far more okay with it once obviously he turns it into a training session, and he's teaching Eustace how to be brave and stand up for himself, that sort of thing. It's the start of everything, which I liked.
I do
Mhm.
think that's a very good scene.
Yep.
Reap knows exactly what he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
And I can see Eustace, to some, being the comic relief to bounce off like the difference of his reactions to Narnia versus Edmund and Lucy and Caspian and all that. But I see Reap being far more the comedic relief of just his charismatic matter to himself and how he handles situations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say they're both a form of comedic relief. I think Reepicheep's just landed a lot more for me in terms of what I personally found funny.
Yeah, it also could be an age thing. Like
It's
maybe to
true.
a younger audience, Eustace is funnier.
I had the school hygiene award 2 times. Did
He's
any of you
head
have that
boy.
award? And that is similar vibes. I'm
Yeah.
head boy. Which I don't know,
I
kind of weird that he's boasting himself as valuable during a slave trade, but
well,
sure.
Well, Eustace is not the brightest tool in the shed. I think we've
No, he has
established
an
that.
acute disposition.
He doesn't know how to operate a row in a rowboat. Do I do the flat end or the blunt small
He's a
end?
sheltered child, Crimson. He doesn't know.
He's the smart book reader who insults fiction readers. I read books to learn things.
Yeah, but he reads like probably algebra books or something. It's not going to teach him how to row a boat.
No life skills.
Mm-mm.
Intelligence that does not
Crimson
translate into
nerd.
the wisdom character stat.
Yep.
Crimson, I'm not sure if this was in your facts that you have. Does the Minotaur have any use of CGI?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say,
Did you think that was all practical?
it did not look
I
practical to
didn't
me.
know if it was animatronic fully. Because the previous
Uh,
ones were mostly just the eyes and mouth. This one could have been like full muscle articulation in the face.
I'm pretty sure that was pretty much entirely CG for this guy.
Okay.
I think there's one scene where it looked like he had the Minotaur looked like it was practical. But that's
It could be
just
both.
because yeah, I think it might be both. Because it feels like for some of the close-up shots, they either did a really good job on the CGI, which is possible. But some of the close-up shots where he's not looking directly into the camera, a lot of his uh like his mane around his head look real. Like so, I feel like there is some practicality to him, but I just don't know where the line is because it looks for most of the film. He looks for most of the film mostly like CGI.
Maybe it's like a Henry Creel Vecna kind of thing. Where it is like as practical as they can, but a little bit of CGI overlay.
I think it's mostly CG in this, which kind of took it out a little bit for me. And I don't really like the redesign of the Minotaurs because this one is more like cow-like, I guess. It's got more of a snout. It's less flat, and
Less hairy.
this is a different
This
design.
is
It's a
this
different
one's the
design than the other
bodybuilder.
Minotaur.
The previous ones are the dad bods.
I guess so.
Um.
And
Oh, go ahead.
postcard.
Damn it. I couldn't tell if it's an error to say it, but when Peter's not around, does Edmund take place of High King?
So
Yeah,
I think
guess.
because of how Prince Caspian ended and Peter and Susan no longer get to visit Narnia, um, Lucy and Edmund become the High King and Queen.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. I was curious because Caspian introduces Edmund as High King.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of awkward dialogue for me as well. But I think I also pretty much went with the explanation Kai just gave to explain it
Yep.
away. I think there's enough that happens at the end of Caspian to infer that they technically would be the High King and Queen now without their other siblings.
Yep.
Okay. I guess that's
Uh,
also knowledge onto Caspian that he knows Susan and Peter aren't coming back.
Mhm.
yeah. Well, I mean, he was there when it was kind of mentioned at the end of the second one, at the portal scene, not in the courtyard.
Yes.
Um, they brought a joke in here which I don't like whatsoever, and that's he's talking to a bird. He's
Oh, I'm
loony.
sorry. I'm
Oh,
complete opposite. I think that's a great joke.
I think it wrecks it.
Oh, it's so funny. Not
I
everything he
think
was
it's
talking.
yeah. I think it's an important lesson for Eustace, but it's also funny because he automatically assumes that all animals in Narnia can speak. And then he gets caught talking to a seagull.
It kind of goes back to the first movie coverage with the the bird gave that
Yep.
I think we said was Mr. Beaver.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just brings up why don't the birds talk? Why is every other animal privy to it, but not the birds?
Maybe Aslan's speciesist.
Well, I mean, Aslan, as we've established, likes to leave Narnia to its fate for a while and doesn't really bring in help until it's necessary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
so I guess give my take on the joke. I think I'm pretty middling on it. I kind of agree with Crimson. I wish I understood like more about why certain animals can talk and why certain animals can't, because I think the joke would land for me more if I did. But I can still buy that Narnians would find it funny because for them that's just common knowledge. So I didn't. I'm kind of that's kind of how I'm middling on the joke. Whether I personally laughed at it, not really. Not really many things that made me laugh in this movie.
Okay, with that then, writer, what is the funniest thing in this movie to you?
Um, I
Is it
don't think it's
Caspian and
intention.
Edmund butting heads at the gold pond?
Yeah, like I said, I don't think it's intentionally funny, but Edmund literally screaming at the top of his lungs at Caspian to die was like he just yells die and swings his sword and I'm like, wow, this is it was it was it was pretty funny. I don't think the film intended it for it to be that way though.
No, I don't think so.
No.
But as for terms of a joke that did work for me, because it was more subtle in the sense of it was just character oriented, is both Edmund and Caspian find the descending star really attractive, and they both kind of make a comment, and then they exchange looks, and Lucy looks annoyed. I think that got me a little bit. I might have smirked at that.
Okay.
Boys.
It's a pretty
Well,
traditional joke, to be honest. It's hard to screw that one up. I did enjoy it though.
I can't remember if it was brought up. I think this was an off podcast thing, but you had a fact about that, Crimson, right? About the star?
Yeah, um, either the next book or a later book, Caspian ends up marrying her. So, yeah, the star lady.
Literally marries a star. Good on you, Caspian.
Yeah,
He's doing better than
Why does that
Sokka.
and yeah, that was off pod.
Ah! I was literally about to say, why does that make me think of Sokka and Yue?
Yeah, he's doing better than Sokka is.
Ong is my favorite character.
High five, Kai. Same brain cell.
Yes.
You specifically said it that way.
Of course, I
Why
did.
would you say his name that way?
Well, that's official. It's Ong.
Crimson's a big fan of the movie.
I've never
No!
seen the movie or the show.
He's not seen the
It's
movie or the
Aang.
show. Thankfully.
Man, that flying wombat bus thing, pretty cool looking.
Okay, all right. Let's. I don't want to commit murder live on the podcast. Let's roll this back to Voyage the Dawn Treader. Then again, I
Where's
haven't seen
Bloodbender?
Spider-Man 3, so that might be just as sacrilegious, but I can't tell.
No, that's lower.
Okay.
Oh gosh. All right. What was I gonna say? Oh, why is Edmund and Lucy separated from Susan and Peter in the first place?
I have no fucking clue.
Good
I
question.
No
think
idea.
I think Susan and Peter are now in college, and they chose to go to the States. That's my best guess.
Oh, you think they're in the States?
Well,
No,
there they
well, they
are.
say that
Well,
they're in
Susan
Oh, they
America.
literally
do. Oh,
says, yeah.
I missed
Yeah,
that. Oh, well,
It's
I missed
okay.
that.
they're in America with their parents, but they never really get to see them.
Look, I apologize to both all of you and the audience. This recording has been a little timey-wimey situation, so I saw the movie a
Little
while
bit.
ago.
I'm sorry.
No.
Life happens, things come up. I'm
It
so
happened to
sorry.
all of us, Kai.
No worries, Kai.
We all had something
Literally,
occur.
it literally happened to all of us. It's perfectly fine.
But yes, I
Okay,
guess that
good.
would make most sense. College in the States.
Well, yeah, but I still don't know why Edmund and Lucy would stay behind instead of going with them with their parents again, which is kind of what they wanted in the first movie. They didn't want to be split up.
Yeah, I never understood that part of it. It feels like maybe they were strapped for cash, so they took their eldest because they need to go to university and they were going to bring the other two along eventually. Mind you, this is me writing a lot for the writers because that's why Edmund was so enthralled with the gold, because that's what they need to leave Eustace and also go see their family again. But that's just me kind of reaching for that.
Well, yeah,
Edmund did turn
power.
to
We
Lucy
can rule
saying,
Narnia.
yeah, that would solve things.
Well, he didn't say it would rule Narnia. He said he was like, it would solve everything.
Yeah.
No, he said it was either rule Narnia or rule the world. It was rule
Could be
something. He
both.
said, but
Mm.
I I think the film needed to actually explain why they're split up more definitively if we're thinking it's because of money, because I don't think they did a good job with that.
Yeah, it's definitely probably a nick for me. Maybe a nitpick. I'm kind of bouncing between those two, but I do think it would be nice to have a better explanation.
I kind of find it as an issue because it's not super plot relevant. Like if they were together and they just like Susan and Peter were down. Well, I mean, you wouldn't have Eustace there because they'd be in America. So I guess it would kind of change the plot if they did go together. But I'll have it as an issue. Sprinks, I guess you can add on or move on.
I'm thinking. I think I'm at a nitpick. Just to go with that.
Okay.
Where to go to next? I find it odd. It makes sense in Prince Caspian that Caerpellevel tomb or catacombs have their gear to the old kings and queens of Narnia. I understand why Caspian would have Peter's sword, because it's left to him from Peter in the previous movie. I don't understand why on the Dawn Treader he has everyone else's stuff.
I think he has Susan stuff particularly because obviously he crushed on her pretty hard. I think that's
Mhm.
adequate reason enough. Plus, he knows the horn can summon them in his time of need. So I think there's plenty of reason to have Susan's stuff. It is a bit convenient that he has Lucy's stuff.
Well, I mean, you might just have it because he has the others. I mean,
That's true.
Peter's and
That might,
Susan's were on display. Meanwhile, hers just shoved in a cabinet.
yeah.
I guess. Even with Edmund's flashlight. Or sorry, torch.
Which works now.
Yeah, 3
Also
years in a cabinet with
looked
batteries.
different. Not to mention it's in the ocean, which batteries probably could have been corroded a little faster than usual.
Yeah.
Don't know how long they were at sea though.
So I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I think you're right in the sense I think he could have the rest just because he has Susan's and Peter's stuff. That might be good enough reason. I'm trying to think if there's any reasons to why they wouldn't. It would help with the clunky dialogue that I really don't like, where where he offers Lucy his stuff, and she's like, "Oh, it's my dagger and my, my heal juice or whatever." And I'm like, "Okay, this is the third movie of a trilogy. We know this is her stuff." I feel like this
Yes,
is
but for those who just wanted a third one.
yeah, I know the dialogue is clunky. It still needed to be cleaned up.
I mean, also, if he kept the horn to bring them back in a moment of need, it'd probably be good if they had their gear with them when they got summoned. So it might just be that simple.
That's true. He might just bring it with him wherever he goes in case they end up popping back in or getting summoned. That I could buy as an explanation, I think.
All right, you'll buy. Will that be with cash or card?
I'll take card, please.
All right.
I
Bad jokes aside, Ryder, you're up.
okay. I guess it's more of a question for you, Sprinks, because I don't really do filmography. and cinematography. That's not really my thing for the podcast. But
Interesting. 3 years
is
at
it?
it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really my thing for the podcast. I focus on the writing. I do have a question for you because it stood out to me in this film as being quite unusual to bad, and I don't know if that's just me or if that's
Ooh, lay it
the.
on me.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm asking you. Is like, is the cinematography off to you in this film? Like, generally speaking, because I think the first, like, I think I got used to it. Is the problem like an hour in? But the filmmaking felt off to me for like the first hour or so.
It does feel like the cinematography is done by multiple people in this movie. And like scenes are filmed differently than one another. Um I know that's a really weird thing to say, but it does kind of look and feel like what is focused on in a scene changes of the, I guess, interest onto the audience. Uh so I do agree it's definitely off from the previous two movies. I don't. I didn't even look if it's the same cinematographer. I don't. I would lean it's not, but it could be the same.
I'd
But
probably have more issue if it's the same because it's just not uniform with the other two. Okay, yeah,
yeah,
I'm not saying it's.
I
I'm not
mean, I
saying it's.
don't.
Sorry.
I don't know if it would go into choreography, but it does seem like in the previous movies, fight scenes, you got to see the fight and the actual hits. This one, it's a lot of quick cuts and around
It's so hard to
to
tell
like
what's happening on that boat
excuse.
during the sea serpent fight.
Yeah, to excuse choreography, which I could go into cinematography for the choice of what to shoot and what not to.
Well, I mean, this would have been storyboarded, so I don't know how much creative liberties the cinematographers would have in this. But I do think it's not as good as the previous films. Like during the beginning of Edmund trying to get enlisted, they keep jumping between like handheld and stationary, uh, seemingly unnecessarily, uh,
Yeah,
which and wasn't very good, at least to me.
and then I guess the other one is the like. It feels like frame rate drop almost because it's not that the characters lag or anything, but like there's a motion blur to when characters move too quickly to that seem to pervade like that seem to be like very intrusive into the fight scenes themselves.
Okay, I'm not sure I picked that up. At least trying to look for it.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
what
know
I
if I'm
meant.
describing it wrong either. It felt like there was a motion blur to a lot of the fight scenes, or like whenever a character moved too quickly. Uh, it feels like how best to describe? You know how like 30 frames per second typically looks normal? It felt like a lot of this film was shot in 25 frames per second. It feels like there's less.
Hmm.
That's possible. I didn't really pick up anything though.
Like I said, it was just because I had never seen the movie before. A lot of the visual stuff for me my first time through just stood out because it felt so different, I guess, from the previous two. So I could be completely wrong, but I guess I am just curious if anyone else had noticed. If you guys hadn't, then that's totally fine. Might just be a me thing.
Yeah, best I have is cinematography is not as good as the previous two movies.
I mean, it's good enough for me. You're the camera guy.
Kai,
However,
you
I
want
am
to take us?
looking at the cinematographies right now.
Kai, you want to take us somewhere else? Supposed to be looking.
Um, I feel bad that I can't add to these kinds of conversations, but I am just a movie enjoyer. I don't analyze everything.
I mean,
It's
it's
That's
okay.
fine.
all
It,
it's really okay, honestly.
yeah, 3 years at an art academy can really kind of brainwash someone.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah.
Fair. So I was gonna go back to the Lucy being tempted by the mist and reading the incantation to make herself look like Susan.
Yes.
All right. And what part of that stands out?
Um, I think I was trying to use it as a way to start talking about the invisible, like sorry, the invisible, like, wizard, I guess is what he would be, or
The
sorcerer?
oppressor.
Yes, the oppressor.
I think they refer to him as magician, sorcerer.
Mm.
There's a couple terms I think they use in the film. Yeah.
Titles, but no
All of which
name.
are easier to say than his name. No, they give. His name was mentioned like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Once for
Somewhere. I
sure.
think it's just an M.
I don't remember what his name was then.
Is his name the island they're on?
No.
No. They introduce his name once. I don't remember it though, so I'm just the oppressor.
Yeah, that's what
The
the,
oppressor. Who was standing in the presence of Lucy and just let her kept going with the
Yeah,
incantation that he was using to protect everybody.
yeah, he was there and just kind of ignored whatever she was doing.
Good
That
point.
was a
Yeah,
little
doesn't
odd.
make sense to me.
Yeah, yeah, didn't make much sense. I will say this to go with the scene before that when Lucy sees snow and like casts like a snow spell.
Mm.
I it was a very simple scene, but I think that was the scene where I realized, okay, like there is still heart in this movie. Like it's not I because at that point I was just desperate for anything good.
I took it as
Yeah.
But
nostalgia bait.
It felt like Narnia
yeah,
again. Yeah.
yeah, it definitely felt like very Narnia there. Because I think up until that point, all I really had was Reepicheep's scene with Eustace. Um, I think that was before this scene anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, but it's like it was this scene that they're like, okay, this feels a little bit more like Narnia. It's still got its heart. It's just I don't know. It took a while for us to get there, but I really really like the scene where Lucy's going through the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's because it's words.
It's okay. It happens.
Words
They
are
escaped me a
words.
lot as well.
Yeah, words not can I. I get it. It's
Yeah. Um, it it kind of annoys me. It's one of my least favorite scenes, I think, because of the temptation for her,
To
where,
just
like,
become Susan.
yeah.
yeah. I wish it wasn't so literal. I think that's what bothers me a lot about the temptation. I don't mind it.
Mhm.
The I mean this. It's not really a secret that a lot of Narnia's symbolism is very Christian oriented and religious, which is why the film is putting such an emphasis on it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm in agreement. It is very it's an interesting it's a strange thing to introduce for Lucy specifically, I think.
It's goes into the reason why I don't really like her arc or storyline in this movie.
Yeah, it feels like it's very much a vanity thing.
Yeah. I feel like the
Yeah.
Queen of Narnia shouldn't have her whole story be a beauty pageant.
I wanna look like Susan, I wanna be beautiful like my sister.
Yeah. Like I said, as like I said at the beginning, it's a very archetypal approach to it. The problem is it doesn't really fit with our perception of Lucy because Lucy was never concerned with that.
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
makes it feel archetypal is that she's growing up, therefore this is now what she feels like.
The this is a reach. I know Crimson's going to be like, "You're really reaching." I know. Best I
Oh,
got is
probably.
that Lucy is kind of depicted as the healer with
Mhm.
her vial, and this is a story of her healing herself. So rather than doing it for others, it's upon her own being.
Yeah. Like I said, it comes out of I know why they're doing it. I understand it. It's archetypal, etc., etc. It just doesn't fit Lucy's character. If Susan were here and she went through this arc, that would make a lot more sense to me. Because
It
Susan
also
was a
doesn't
lot
really flow
more,
with the movie.
yeah,
It feels very B plot.
Yeah, it's just kind of there. Kind of
Like
like
there's an
Edmund, the greed.
yeah.
yeah. Well, I think that was more on being hexed and
A
him and
little bit.
Caspian being bewitched or something. I just found it odd that Lucy wasn't
It wasn't
bewitched
affected
being in
by
that
it.
scene. But yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
other
mean,
than
whenever
the
the
But
one
list is around,
comment,
they're getting changed.
yeah, tempted.
So
The only one thing, the connection to Susan and Lucy that is not just Lucy, I think is just the beginning where Lucy puts her hair behind her ear and Edmund. I wish there was more overlap of the two storylines of like Caspian noticing something, being that he had a thing for Susan, or Edmund pointing out more things about Lucy's behavior around them, rather than just feeling like very just Lucy, and you give Lucy Gale just that, which feels she's taken away from the team.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's one of my biggest complaints with this movie overall, is that there's not much of a team dynamic going on, especially because a lot of the climax rides upon like Caspian and Edmund admitting that they see each other as brothers.
It's a lot of
where,
partners.
yeah, which is fine, but I think they need to. What hurts Lucy's the most is Gail's partnership with Lucy is not really. It doesn't have as much screen time as Edmund and Caspian's, and not even then. I still have issues with Edmund's and Caspian's because a lot of
Or
the
Eustace and Reep.
concerns, yeah, or Eustace and Reep, and well, Eustace and Reep I think actually get quite a bit. I actually like
yeah.
a lot of their stuff, like
Yeah,
of
I'm saying
the
comparatively
pairings.
to Lucy and Gale.
Yeah, yeah, of the pairings, I think Reepicheep's and Eustace's is probably the most efficient. Like, there's clearly the most going on there.
Yeah. I would say though, Lucy and Gale, that's above Peter and Susan.
That's
definitely above
that's very
Peter.
true.
Yeah.
One could even argue that's technically
On
not
the-
even Peter in the scene he's in. It's a dream or
That's
something.
like a dream, yeah. A what if world scenario.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
On the Lucy Vanity, also we have to take into account, and something the film doesn't, is in her mind she's like a 25 to 30-year-old thinking about wanting to look like her sister.
Well,
in her
actually,
brain.
she'd be pushing 30-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's even more weird because they're portraying it as like, oh, it's a little girl looking up to her older sister, wanting to look like her. She's not really a little girl. She's
Yeah,
like
and
a
looking at
30-year-old.
her sister is looking at her like early 20-year-old sister, not the sister of in Narnia she's aged with.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
that
it
would be
does
something too.
feel a
Like,
little off.
if she was comparing herself directly to how her sister was in Narnia as like High Queen, that would be that would add a lot more depth, I think, to her feeling inadequate, because maybe Susan was a really, really great ruler.
Yeah, or if you want to go with the approach that Lucy wants more attention from boys, being that when Susan's around, all the attention goes on her, like the Hufflepuff dude in Prince Caspian, and then Caspian himself, and the attention on Susan. But Lucy in this movie doesn't really approach boys or have a love interest thing to be jealous about Susan for.
That would be an
I
interesting
mean,
thing to throw in.
the only thing I can think of springs where I'm drawing a connection to what you said is the fact that in the letter Susan talks about having a suitor that she likes.
That's what. Yeah, I suppose that adds in more.
Well, it's not a suitor that Susan likes. It's she says, "I think he fancies me."
Yeah, but
Yeah,
well, I mean,
that's
the agreement of where I'm saying that she likes him is because clearly she's going to like the date or the
Oh, yeah,
location where
yeah.
it's happening. That's pretty much yeah. You're right though.
It does feel like it falls into that thing where it's a here there inference on what Lucy's full motive of the vanity is.
Mm.
which definitely I think could have been strengthened in the movie, being that it is essentially a complete equal B plot and not just like a couple scenes.
Yeah.
What would you guys, as writers, pick as something she would need to work on? Because we all agree that if anything kind of feels left field, what would be your focus for her? I guess I'll go so you guys have time to think. I'm kind of leaning if her battle against maturity. We already talked about it. She's kind of a 30-year-old, but um, as because you have Edmund trying to grow up, he wants to be enlisted. He sees himself as an adult, and then the opposite could be Lucy, who wants to stay a child to keep in Narnia. Um, so this could be like her opportunity of growing up past Narnia instead of just my sister's beautiful. I want to look beautiful.
I think a stronger lesson would have been to step out of Susan's shadow, to not be behind her sister and see everything her sister does and how people react around her sister, and that's her role model of what she wants to be, but to be on her own differently from that, beside her sister, not behind.
Mm.
Which in the first movie, not a problem at all. Like nothing really. Maybe
Mhm.
just because Lucy's so young, but that's not a thing at all. Caspian, I think, gives a little, or Prince Caspian, the second movie, I think gives a little hints, but we don't really see a scene where it cuts to Lucy like looking jealous or questioning a look or something. So it does feel a little more like this is the story here in this third one. So that's how I would have probably written it to be.
All right, ready that one?
Yeah, I'm thinking on it a bit. There's a few things that come to mind in terms of ideas I would want to play with. And in terms of making what we currently have better, uh, you could again play with the maturity levels. There's because obviously she's lived a life as an adult that can contrast quite a lot with how she's being treated still as a kid. That's kind of what Peter struggled with in the last one. Giving her something similar is not entirely out of left field, I think. Um, and then you can obviously there's as terms of giving her new problems to deal with that make more sense within her character. She could have a sense of PTSD a lot of the time that she's like the last time she was in Narnia, she was in war again, being chased by Telmarines. She comes back, she's still in World War II under the threat of German bombers to a degree.
Yeah, the
I'm
last
not.
like 5 years of her life has just been war everywhere.
Yeah. So like there you can absolutely do something related to PTSD in terms of something that she needs to do some self-healing on. Maybe she wants to be more active in a way, and because of, traditional 1940s values, maybe that clashes with what she wants to do. There's a lot of things you can potentially play with as for what she would want as a character, and that that seem a little bit closer to what her experiences have been shown on screen, I think. So,
Okay.
Hey, Kai, do you have any to add? Or we cover a lot of the
Nope.
bases?
I think we covered it.
All right. All right, Sprinks, you want to throw out something?
Sure. The two follow-up points that were brought up. So this film, all three films have a different cinematographer. The one who did this film has some credits tied to X-Men: The Last Stand and Ant-Man and the Wasp. And in my head, I remember those having, I guess, okay cinematography. I haven't, we haven't reviewed either of those. Um, but just to aid into writers' thought of like feels different in the look. The other follow up I have is the gold scene of what Edmund says. So he takes out the um seashell. I don't know why I was blanking on the word and says could be the most powerful person in the world. I guess in the context of getting to that cave, he means Narnia, but I suppose it could also mean like the real world or Earth, because he then looks over to Lucy and says, "We'd be so rich." and it could solve all their problems. He
That's
also
pretty
follows
great then.
with. He also follows with. I think it leans a little more to the real world with the line of. I didn't write it down, so hang on. No one could tell us what to do or who to live with. And the live with line, I think, falls into living with Eustace and his family.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Pevensies have not enjoyed their time with the Scrubs. Is that what their name? Eustace Scrub?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Eustace's dad doesn't even acknowledge their existence. Pretty much, he's just reading the paper.
No, not even really a
Father,
character.
he's gonna beat me.
But
No reaction.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That was my
That's-
favorite, or not favorite, funniest scene was him crying to his dad he's gonna get hit.
And the dad just not reacting. That is pretty funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Crimson, I believe, then for an original point you're looking for from me, what I really think it all falls under coincidence. When did these slave traders appear on this lone island?
Within 3 years.
Yeah,
Okay, because they're
somewhere
That's
in
not-
when
that time.
the
It is a
Lord's gone
Telmarine.
missing.
It was originally a Telmarine port, right?
I think so.
It was in their territory. Yeah.
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 I guess when the Telmarine Empire collapsed, I'm just going to refer to it as an empire that collapsed. I guess that they just forgot about it.
Well, they know the Seven Lords went that way, which is why they're heading that way to find them. But I just find it coincidental that it's not just the slave trade of the Voyage, the Dawn Treader crew of Eustace, Lucy, Edmund, what have you. There are people, the civilians still on the island they're taking for slave trading. So it's not like they've wiped out the island.
It kind of
Yeah,
comes
it's kind of
across to me
weird.
like the,
Also, that nobody was around. They're just
it-
hiding
it
in
ki-
the tower.
it kind of comes across to me like the slave traders have taken over the town and they just are doing what they want.
Yes, but it must be a recent thing. It didn't happen 3 years ago if they still have people they're capturing.
I'm looking at the Lord. He looks like he's been trapped there for a while.
Well, since we're on him, convenient that that he's placed in the same cell with Caspian Edmund. That's just convenient. That's all.
Yeah,
Maybe they forgot about him.
Perhaps.
possibly.
I mean, that sword definitely got weathered by the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Had to
I
have
also
been there
kind of
for
think all these lords are
a
cursed
good while.
or something in a way. Because there's no way Lord Byrne, the last one, has been stranded out there eating anything in a fear toxin island.
Yeah. I mean, the
I
star,
don't know. It's all
whatever her name is, I forget. She mentions that they were all, or the ones that had made it to Aslan's table, were half mad and ready to kill each other.
Yes, and no violence at the table.
Yep.
Lily Andil.
I would
I
still
believe
not
is
have
the
eaten
name.
there.
I'm not touching that trap, Crimson.
Yeah. Crimson, you wouldn't have eaten there even if ever you knew everything was, unless there was mac and cheese, maybe then. But yes. But you would not have eaten there anyway.
Medieval memories. I could have eaten the bread. Who knows? But seeing a couple petrified guys and then this like ethereal creature, it's like, oh no, they just were rebel rousers, and we just calmed them down. We put
And
them
the
to
fact
sleep.
that they're still breathing
Go ahead, eat. Yeah.
They're asleep.
I'm still not.
with their
gonna
eyes
be-
open.
They're asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure I
Those
would have.
vagabonds.
I'm with Edmund and Caspian. Let's not eat. We're not going to try this. Shit.
Yeah, they sleep like
This is-
Gandalf.
This is such an obvious trap.
Something
Something
I'll touch.
I want to
oh,
hear
never
Spence
mind.
talk about is what you're going to say.
Ah, got host carded.
Racked up to 2.
I
go for
think
third.
the green mist CGI or the green mist effects are inconsistent.
Yeah, I mean,
Are they?
Some scenes they look
I-
pretty good. Some they
I'm-
look so bad.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know why they didn't just let the smoke monster from Lost just keep his normal skin. You know, I feel like I think the makeup and CGI was too much. I think they should have just kept the original casting.
Or just the sound effects of like a monster and gears and
All right, I'm done, Sprinks. That was
please don't. Yeah,
Oh.
let's keep Lost away from this show or this movie, please.
oh,
it is on an island.
okay.
It is
let's
on an
not-
island, yes.
So and there is
Right.
a flying instrument of some sort.
You know what next? Narnia,
Sounds good.
Narnia's just purgatory. You know?
Since we're on the subject, yeah. I mean, okay. Since we're actually on the subject, what Narnia? There's supposed to be like lesser Narnia, which is where all these stories take place, and then there's the higher plane of Narnia, which is where Aslan's country is, and that's the distinction between like heaven and purgatory or whatever the hell else like Narnia is supposed to be, like lesser Narnia is supposed to be.
Midgard.
It could be, yeah. Midgard's another equivalent for that. So it's, as much as I'm cracking a joke about the smoke monster thing, it's not that far off of I guess one of the long running theories as to what Narnia actually is in the lore for C.S. Lewis.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the mist is one of the weakest aspects of this because we don't really have an antagonist.
We
It's
don't know
just
what
this
started
force.
Yeah,
No, it kind of looks like it emitted from the book, and I'm like, oh, it's a spell from the book, but the magician guy wasn't the bad guy at the end,
No.
so
He's like, it comes from Dark Island. With all these
Yeah.
islands having weird names like Kurikin's Island and all these other things, just Dark Island.
Alright, I'm not gonna throw shade at that. All right, it's a fantasy land. We have like the Misty Mountains, Mount Doom, Dark Island. I think it fits the genre, and it's funny because the first thing I thought of was what's it called? Is it Kingdom Hearts that does like, oh yeah, we have to defeat the darkness or whatever, or
Love.
something like that.
Why am I just
Love.
getting attacked?
I'm not.
First of
I'm
all,
not
Kingdom Hearts
attacking
is-
you. I'm not attacking you. I swear. I'm just trying to
Yes,
draw like.
Kingdom Hearts is light darkness friendshp.
Yeah,
Over and
that's-
over and over again.
there's magic in this and in the Prestige. How weird! That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Sprinks.
Yeah. So it is funny that it's called Dark Island. It does stand out because it seems like the only one, whereas in like Lord of the Rings you have multiple, like you have fancy names and you have, Mount Doom, the Misty Mountains. It doesn't really. Yeah, so you got a healthy mix of both in Lord of the Rings, and it's I guess it stands out here for you, Sprinks. Maybe it's just because it is the only one that's named such. I guess given such a base
yeah,
name.
a very common basic name, but it also doesn't really have an origin. It just appeared.
Yeah,
It'd
just
be
started.
cool if there was like a dark Aslan, kind of like Scar, with like a dark mane or something.
Nega Asland.
Some enemy. There's no enemy here.
So funny enough, the mist creature is not in the book. I know that for a fact. The
Wow.
mist here is
No, that's
added to try to
bad.
give
That's
the
a
movie an antagonist.
Who's the bad guy in the book? Is there a
I
bad
don't-
guy in the book?
The island.
I don't think there is one. I legitimately think that the book is just a again, mind you, I this is not one of the books I read. All I know is that the monster is
Journey to
not
Find
real. So
Swords?
I think that it's just about the journey, as they say. I don't think there's
Oh,
an
that's a big change.
antagonist.
Interesting.
That means the White Witch is not
Hmm.
in the book then.
Not likely.
I'm kind of curious to see what a slower paced character story in Narnia would look like. This may be funny enough. This made me interested in reading the book, but I'm probably not going to watch the movie again.
Wait,
But for
there was
the
no
effects of
pirate battles, no ships, no ship fights, lacking. Boo.
yeah, the book, the Dawn Treader is not a ship in the book. Real twist.
It's an airplane.
But it's a joke. It's a joke.
It's-
The mist, though, I think at the end during like the sea serpent thing when it's on the boat, I think that looks pretty good, like a rolling in fog. But the first instance of it, where they send out a sacrifice boat and
And it
comes
just
up
comes
on the
out of
water,
nowhere.
and it's
Yeah.
it's like not touching the water. It's just like an overlaid green screen look thing. Oh, it looks so bad. And then they don't even fade the sacrifice. They just cut their
They cut away.
image overlay. They're just gone.
I don't
Yep.
know, and it's weird because they make it like the mist has a certain level of intelligence. Like instead of taking everybody on the island, it's made this like nonverbal agreement of taking sacrifices. I will leave you on the island alone. Just send in some sacrifices.
Well,
And that doesn't really come to play. It just seems like some force. It doesn't seem intelligent.
All right. Okay. I'm about to like do some really,
Nice
really
note,
hard
intelligence.
writing for the writers, so I'm just gonna apologize up front. This is not what I believe, but the island
Devil's
is pure
advocate.
evil. Yeah, the island is pure evil. That it does have a sense of intelligence, and it does have a sense of malevolence. Maybe it is entertained by the fact these people are offering sacrifices because it views that as like an innate evil that's feeding itself. Because it says it is the source of all evil in Narnia or whatever. So maybe like the cruelty of just the act alone helps feed it more than it would be just consuming the island as a whole.
Change your name to Stretch Armstrong here. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I
I
But,
prefaced it. I prefaced that I don't believe what I'm saying.
I know. And that's an avenue they could have taken, where the entity rewards bad behavior and it feeds on it, but that's not something that's really depicted.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now,
Something I'm on to hear Sprinks again talk about.
All right, we racked up 3. Here we go, baby. Here we go.
Now we've talked. I think in the past, Ryder, you wouldn't have this because this was your first time, but I forget what we covered. Where it's like, oh, it's been so long since I've seen that movie. I don't know how much I'll remember. This movie on this rewatch for me was very spotty of like the stuff I do remember and don't. I didn't remember anything of the oppressor until it popped up.
Really?
Yeah,
I
I
only
remember
remember the painting and
it was so weird.
Part of the gold part
I remember
with the dragon.
Lucy being taken by invisible creatures.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember them having like 1 foot when they're revealed. I don't remember how they became invisible, how they became uninvisible, anything to do with the magician's house.
Wow. L Sprinks.
Yeah. I also remember there being a sea serpent. I don't remember what it looked like. I could not probably describe from this movie like the 1-to-1. I mean, it was not. Like the sea serpent in my head was not the sea serpent on screen.
Is that the sea serpent Edmund pictured, or just a sea serpent that the mist concocted because Edmund just thought sea serpent?
I don't know. Could be either. Whatever it is, it's a ripoff of Ghostbusters.
Brainer.
I make
You wanna
no
be more
comment
specific
on that
with that?
front.
Oh, no comment on that front.
Okay. Don't hate me.
Oh, I see where this is going.
No
It
Ghostbusters?
cannot possibly be
Have a
worse.
good guess.
Kai, it cannot be
Ah.
possibly worse than the amount of times I've disappointed Sprinks and Crimson.
Couple
Well,
times.
this might
First, you got to watch the
disappoint.
2016 one.
Oh, wait.
This would probably
Kai doesn't
disappoint
like
all
horror.
3 of you. I've never watched Ghostbusters.
I'd hardly call it a horror.
It's a
It's
comedy. Yeah, it's not really scary.
It's not a
I've
required viewing.
I have seen clips of it, but I have never sat down and watched like the full movies.
Okay, well, that's let me jot that down. That'll be fixed after the pod.
Oh no. We already have a mountain of movies we need to
I'm
watch.
adding it to the list. It's going in the list.
Sequel season for the podcast again.
I don't know. Spooktober rolls around.
Oh.
Well, there you go. We did drop a couple franchises last year.
It's true.
No more Halloween Town and no more Evil Dead, maybe.
Well, yeah, Evil Dead's a maybe.
Question mark.
I mean, a new one comes out this year. Ugh.
We have to watch the remake first, though.
That's what we're talking about. Whole new trilogy. Anywho's.
Yeah, on the topic of the Invisible Island, I guess. I don't know why they spent the night there other than they needed the plot to move. They could have slept on the boat and then arrived at the island. Why would you go to an unknown mystery island just to sleep on the
Yeah,
beach when
I
you could
didn't get that
sleep on
either.
your
Really
boat and
good
then
point.
go in the morning?
To add on to
That's a
that,
really good point.
to add on to that, I have no idea why Eustace was brought to both locations at all. It makes sense for the the third one with like the cursed island or whatever because he's insistent and he's had some interactions with Reepicheep at that point. But
He's
I
earned his
never
keep
understood.
at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know why Eustace was even going to the on the expeditions with them for a while.
You know
Because
what?
it's part of the cast.
Isn't that a
Crimson
trouble?
that
I
changes a lot.
I don't know if that is I don't know if Edmund or
Oh,
Lucy
that's a
would want that.
lot.
That
Oh,
might be a
Crimson, I
stretch.
Yeah,
think I've
it's pretty
pushed it
big.
to a flaw. I think I have that as a
Yeah, it changes
flaw.
the events of the film.
It does.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
Yeah, I have that as a flaw.
Like it makes sense that they would go ashore for the first one because they think it's a town like they're supposed to visit or whatever, but not for this one.
And it's daytime. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I had that as a flaw
yeah.
too. It's a pretty big one.
The designs of these creatures, though, are very interesting.
Was it Dufflepuds?
Yep.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Biologically, it
wonder
doesn't
what
make
called.
much sense. The toes.
Yeah, I wish the
'Cause
feet were
that's not how it
symmetrical
would look.
because I don't know what depicts what's a
They
left
should.
foot and what's a right foot.
There shouldn't be a left or right foot. The reason your foot is shaped like that is for balance purposes. it
Yeah,
it would be imbalanced with these guys. It doesn't
they
make
should be
sense.
like a webbed duck foot, like symmetrical, not necessarily
Yeah.
webbed, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be symmetrical. It is weird that they have like that they're shaped like a normal person's foot would be.
yeah.
It'd be more
Unless
visually
Dufflepods have
interesting with like a big toe in the middle and then two pinky toes on the
unless
outside.
Dufflepods
It'd be
have
weird.
more of a backstory curse to them or something. I do find it a nitpick because we don't really know their skill, but they are invisible, and the party coming to look for Lucy is standing practically still looking for her, and they miss every single spear throw.
Yeah,
Well,
I
it's more for intimidation, isn't it?
it's weird that their weapons are invisible, but when they have the Narnia weapons that they're visible, so that their weapons get enchanted as well.
Ooh. That bumped it to a nick. Because if it's what they touch, they turn invisible, then Lucy should have been invisible when carried away.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's
And the
given
spears are invisible to not. Ooh.
yeah, and given also I'm gonna say it's some plot armor here, be that nobody actually got hurt during this fight, because if Caspian or Edmund landed a hit with their sword, the two creatures standing on top of each other would topple over.
Yeah. But they'd be invisible so you wouldn't be able to tell other than them saying,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh, my intestines, help me." Anything like
Yeah,
that.
I don't need that level of gore, but it is it's just an odd
Well, it'd be
choice.
invisible. We couldn't see it. So
Yeah.
I think we get the traumatic expression across in a kid's film.
So I
yeah,
looked
that's when you
them
could
up.
get away with it.
I wanted to know more
Uh-huh.
about the Dufflepuds. They were originally common dwarfs called Duffers. They were said to be rather plain creatures, and then later transformed into monopods by Koryakin. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right.
The
Oh,
oppressor.
As
yeah.
as
He's
punishment for disobedience. In this form, each
Wow,
had
they,
only one
glossed over
leg
that.
right under its body and a huge foot the size of a small coracle.
Huh.
Well, that makes them stupid because they should be like, "Hey, Lucy, can you fix us instead of just making us visible?"
Instead of
Yeah.
just making them visible.
They are
Yeah.
kind of stupid to
Yes.
begin with. I guess that's just their intelligence level.
Yeah.
Because he like
I
throws
feel like they'd want that more than being visible.
sawdust at them or whatever, and they run away in fear.
Lint.
Lint.
Yeah, lint.
Oh, lint. Yes, pocket lint.
which you
Hey,
seem to
if
have a
a
lot of.
magic user throws anything at me, I'm going to assume it's magic. All right.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
that
know,
is
good point.
absolutely a safe assumption. Yes, that is how you should approach it.
Yeah, but I guess that does help explain the foot thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just interesting fact I found.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
kind of
thank you for
glad they
sharing.
didn't bring that up in the movie because I don't think that would work for them.
Yeah, I don't know if the Devil Pods need more lore
Probably not.
necessarily, but
Not in this movie, anyways.
no.
Yeah.
Writer, Sprinks, I'm putting you down.
Ryder,
I'm not
it's
doing it.
Ryder.
Ryder,
He's
you're up.
not doing it again.
Sorry, I'm looking for opportunities.
You're in
Oh,
timeout here.
not the timeout.
Share with the rest of the class.
Uh,
Ryder, you're up.
oh, I forgot I had a Ryan Johnson joke baked into my notes.
Of course you did.
Of
Of
course I did.
course you did.
Yeah, yeah. Edmond and Caspian get locked up in the person who is the most relevant to the plot. Oh, so this is where Ryan Johnson got the idea from.
Oh.
You probably would love this movie.
Probably, and that's disappointing.
Oh, you just change out slave trading for gambling.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. It's
Yeah,
same
that's what Taylor
same
said.
shit. All right. One of the things I do actually like about this is because Edmund hasn't really had his own sword, and yeah, his sword gets copy and pasted 7 times for the 7 Telmarine lords. 7?
7.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Seven Lords.
Yeah, the 7 lords. But I do like that he gets his own sword and immediately starts cleaning it. It's a nice little character thing for him because he's always, because of Peter, right? He's probably always wanted a sword to call his own that would be unique. And while this technically could be a unique sword, it just happens to have 6 brothers. So I like that he's takes the time to like clean up all the the barnacles and the everything else that kind of would have like covered it over the years. It's just a nice little detail for Edmund's character that I quite enjoyed, and also Reepicheep
Yeah.
encouraging him too.
Edmund never got a gift from Santa.
That is true.
Well, he's too
To
busy
be fair,
being a
he was
traitor.
very naughty in in that first movie.
True, but from the first movie of them aging, 7+ years or whatever, and them being like, "Oh, we haven't had a Christmas in 100 years because of the frozen time by the White Witch in her reign." Do
Mm.
seasons now only have like spring and summer in Narnia with her gone? Like, do they ever do like an actual season cycle to go back to winter so Santa can come the next year to give Edmund a gift?
I have
Well,
no
Santa was
idea.
regular before, so I imagine they still have the cycle, just not permanent winter.
Then that's kind of funny that Edmund doesn't really have anything.
No. He didn't bring his chess piece that he found in the last one.
No, or his big helmet.
Yeah. So I like that the film at least tries to give him an item of worth because he has lacked that a lot of the time.
Yeah.
True.
I agree.
Something they changed from the book. I found this on my fact finding. The golden pond and the dragon treasure were 2 separate islands, but they put them both on this island to fit the screen time, the runtime.
The Golden Pond, huh?
That's what I'm going to call it. Yeah.
Interesting.
It is a pool.
No, it's just very
Golden pool.
selective choice of words from Crimson.
Mm.
It is
Yeah.
selective.
What Spriggs is getting at is he has a dirty mind. That's fine. It's just
Sure.
Oh, that's not what I was going with.
I'll say that writer's joke, very funny. Crimson, what you were thinking, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Them being on the same island, though, I think is appropriate. It doesn't feel too shoehorned in. I wouldn't have guessed that it was 2 separate island trials, I guess. I think it worked.
Yeah, I think it does work.
It does work in shortened. It does work for the movie format, but again, my problem with it is, the the plot feels so directionless up until like the star appears, and I wish that we got more character stuff in here because Edmund and Caspian don't even talk about the fact that they try to kill each other on this island. Like
Yeah,
No,
it's
I
just
think
kind
it's
of
just to
forgotten
overtake
about.
a breed.
yeah, but I mean, it's still something they would talk about if they're quote unquote brothers. Like we're supposed to buy into this. This is something they would address. Like there would be layers to the apology that Edmund would give. Like, yes, I was tempted, but I've been going through this, and this, that sort of thing. And then they would bond because Caspian's struggling to be the king that Narnia is looking to lead, you know? Because he does
Mhm.
struggle with leaderships. Because I really to be clear, I really love the payoff where he gives his speech and he's surprised at how everybody cheers for him, you know, for Narnia. And
Yeah.
I really love his reaction there. So I kind of wish there was more of him feeling inadequate as a leader, like he's struggling to do so, because there's not really much of that. Like there's a lot of good ideas here. They just don't play with them well, which is what I think ultimately really bugs me about the film as a whole.
I guess that's true because it's all just go to this, go to this. I mean, they have to condense finding seven swords, which is kind of like the Horcruxes in Harry Potter, but at least Harry Potter had a lot of movies to do it. This
Had
is in
Yeah,
one
yeah.
movie.
locations, time, different looks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like the combination though that the pool and the dragon stuff and everything is all on one island, because then it feels like, you know, a dragon's hoard of all the gold of where it's being kept. And the pond didn't remind me of like the Hand of Midas. I just kind of wish there was another dragon present, even if it's just like a skeleton of a dragon to help
Mm.
with the curse of
Yeah, like
Eustace, because
to hint that
Eustace being cursed
it's
to, yeah, to look like a dragon is like, oh, cursed to take the form of the horde or something like that, to, I guess, give more to the audience that it's a dragon's horde, but not knowing where that other dragon is or if there even is one is the kind of question.
yeah. I mean, my reaction
Yeah,
to
some
this
like
was
dragon
there's
footprints or
dragons
something.
in Narnia.
Yeah,
That was my
and this is an
reaction.
actual
Where were
dragon.
they
This
during
isn't
the
a
battle?
wyvern called a dragon.
That is true. It is actually a
Yeah.
dragon. Thumbs up. They actually got some fantasy lore correct that most fantasy people don't.
How do you guys like
Yeah,
the design
forget it.
of this dragon?
I like the face.
The human,
It's very
see the human
different.
eyes. It really put me off
Oh, I just think it's very different looking. I
instead of
like
like
that.
the reptilian typical look.
I, as a first time viewer, I think I liked it because I immediately picked up that it was Eustace.
Yeah, I think that's why they did it, was so that, I mean, it gives him it gives hints to him still being Eustace, not just a monster, basically.
Yeah, not to fully disguise the
hmm
being.
I still
Though
think
I
it was
don't really
funny that he.
know. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I still think it's a little funny that he still had to like write out in fire that it was him.
You took exactly what I was just going to say.
Yay!
It is funny. I agree.
But he pre-planned that.
He had
Like he
to.
did it before, yeah,
Yeah.
beforehand to go get them. But it
hmm
seemed like when he got to the boat, his goal wasn't to just immediately capture Edmund or someone to go read that. It was trying to like express himself there.
Yeah, I think
That was
my
his backup plan.
fix. Yeah, I think yes that yeah. My fix for this scene would be he like steals Edmund first and then does it. I think that would be the change because he just goes to the ship and everyone reacts accordingly and he doesn't really do anything until he runs away and decides to kidnap Edmund. So I find the note funny. I think it makes sense that Eustace would do that because he's. But I guess it feels a little bit out of order. I guess the how the events would progress logically. And put that in quotes because logic in fantasy is weird.
Yeah. I mean, the marks are still singed with like fire
Yeah.
remains, so it's like
Yeah.
still recent. It hasn't like died down for Eustace to go back to the ship and then bring someone back. Unless that's just like how the terrain works with heat here.
Well, it is a
I mean, they
volcanic
did say it's
island.
volcanic.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm beat. You got me. It works.
Sorry.
It's a magic movie.
I think more on the face. It gave me. I don't know if any of you've seen it. Well, I know Spring says, but Water Horse, that movie. I get similar vibes to the face of a
Oh.
Loch Ness monster in that. I think is very
I
similar.
got a little more Dragon Heart.
Aragon.
Nope, not that one. I can kind of see the Water Horse. I haven't seen that movie in forever.
It's been a long time for me as well. I don't know. Kai and Ryder, have either of you seen it?
No.
I've never even heard of it.
Oh, World
Well,
War
you
II
don't really need
Loch
to.
Ness monster movie.
I've heard of
I'm
it,
s-
but I never
I'm
watched it.
sold. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kai,
with a
you
little
got
bit
something?
of like Free Willy in there too. But
A little bit.
I'm gonna be honest. I did have notes, but I did not have many. So that is on me.
that's okay.
Yeah,
Still
I
plenty to
have-
jump off of us.
Yes, because I have reached the end of mine.
Okay. Then Sprinks, you're now out of your corner. You can now go somewhere.
Yay! Okay. I don't really know how the magic system works in this world, but when
Yeah, hey, neither
Lucy
do I.
started,
It's one of my
yeah,
my
when Lucy
problems.
started the spell of beauty and got cut off, to much later then continue the spell for it to work. Like, what is the time difference between needing to start a spell over again?
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, no idea.
I don't know why Aslan did a distant roar instead of just arriving and saying, "Hey, Lucy, knock it
He
off."
was disappointed. He was mad. But I'm like, is that something where it's like you could say a spell all the way through except the last word, and then it's like a trigger word whenever you say it in your life moving forward?
That would be really cool magic system. I'm gonna write that
What's
down.
the gap? There you go.
Like
I
it's a
feel like that would
pattern of
be-
words.
I feel like that would be inconvenient sometimes.
It could be,
God, that would be
but it
such
just
an
kind of made me
annoying
think
magic
that's how
system,
it
but so
works
fun.
here. Because Lucy
I don't
didn't
know.
restart it.
Yeah,
So
she
I have
just
it as a
went
nitpick because I mean, it totally works, as we saw that the
Mm.
spell did work, but the gap between starting it and ending it is a little confusing.
It's been a through line through the Narnia films. The magic is just whatever it wants it to
inconsistent.
be. The
Yeah.
deep magic or whatever they called it. It's
Hey, don't cite it to me.
there's nothing.
Yeah, please cite the deep magic to me. I was not there when it was written. I need to know.
I need to know. Part it upon me, Aslan, please. I guess on the topic of Aslan, definitely the best looking Aslan. I mentioned in the previous one I thought he was a downgrade, but I think this one looks the best.
I still
I
think the first one looks the best.
I think this one looks the best, but I'm predisposed.
CGI
The
best.
first one, the CGI is the best of this one. I think the first one still is my favorite design because this one is a little more gray. He's got darker fur, but I really
look very
love the
bright.
golden lion look that he has in the first one.
He gets older every time Lucy's there.
Yep.
That's interesting. Aslan ages.
When Lucy's there, he's supposed
Well, I
Read that
mean,
last
we have some experience with this. Gods in the Marvel universe age; they just age really slowly.
That's true.
Yeah, why does Thor look old after like 10 years? Meanwhile, he's like 1,000 years old.
Because he's an alien.
What's going on here?
He's played by an actor.
These are aliens. That's where I
Oh,
stand.
it's because he's played by an actor. I didn't think about that.
But yeah, no, it's true.
Can someone explain to me in the golden pool how the statue is emitting bubbles?
It was trapped in his lungs. I have no idea. I doubt it's any time recent that he fell in there.
Yeah, I think it's certainly time has passed.
There's not even a boat on this island that Lord Stephen would have taken.
some
Get a
real
pee
real
there.
writing for the writers here. What if they're still alive?
Oh,
And
he's
like
breathing.
the curse, no, and the curse keeps him alive, so his air just keeps cycling back up with lungs as a form of torture for what he did.
Oh my gosh,
So he's
that's the
constantly
darkest part of this
frozen.
movie.
Ah.
I guess that
Yeah.
explains it, but jeez Louise.
Yeah, that's some real writing for the writers here. I mean, it's not. I do think that is something that might be the case in the book, if only because there's given all the religious implications that C.S. Lewis likes to tie into his work for the Narnia books. It wouldn't surprise me if he did that as a sort of like punishment that's supposed to be really really hellish, because he gave in to greed, which is like one of the worst possible sins you could give into.
Mm.
So it is a reach. I definitely don't think it's actually what happened. It's probably just inconsistent in an effect. But that is the only explanation I can draw from to make it work within this setting.
Okay.
I guess on the topic of this scene, it's pretty lucky and convenient that the sword is right on the edge and not all the way down at the bottom
Yeah,
Yeah, it didn't
where
sink.
a sword couldn't reach it to grab it.
it's not like the sword of Gryffindor.
Because
at
if
the
it was
bottom
at
of
the
lake.
bottom, I don't know how they would have gotten it.
Yeah. Because do you think if they're touching something in the water while holding it, it goes up their body? Or is it just the item held?
Was the shell close to his hand?
He
or
he
touching his
dipped it
hand?
and set it down, and when he set it down, it turned gold. It wasn't turning gold in
It
his
didn't turn
hand.
the rock. It didn't turn the rock. It was on gold.
No. Ooh, that's a good.
So I guess it would be the object, based off that at least.
That would be a crazy potion. If you could like contain that water in a vial and you throw the vial at someone, so it shatters and they
Well, the
just
vial itself would
start
be made out of gold, so it wouldn't really shatter.
a magical vial, Crimson, please.
Oh, magical vial! Of course, such foolish me.
It's
I
not
see which point.
affected by the water it holds.
It would be an
Yeah.
interesting curse to put on someone or something in terms of like a splash potion.
Yeah,
That would be horrible.
Instant KO.
Yeah, it would be awful.
but if it's
But-
item only, I mean, it would be terrible if it's like the whole body gold, kind of like the lord that fell into the water. I'm guessing, but if it was item only, it's like if someone's cloak turned to gold, then you're like imprisoned in it, kind of thing.
Yeah. It's not quite Drogo and Daenerys killing Viserys, but I think
Nope.
it would still be pretty brutal.
It's not a gold crown.
Spoilers, writer. Gosh, darn it! Now I can't watch Game of Thrones.
Well, it's not like Aladdin
hey,
and Prince of Thieves.
You're lucky.
Holding
I would
the
never
hand of
recommend
Midas.
Game of Thrones to anybody now. At least,
Oh, I was
at
just
least
gonna watch the last season, but okay.
Trebuchets, frontline trebuchets.
Okay, yeah, that's at me. I deserve that for all the fun I was poking at you earlier in
Yep.
the podcast. God damn it, I hate that fucking ending so much. Okay.
Burn the citizens.
I have another nitpick.
Another one.
Another one. Yes. Eustace's clothes look just burned when they come across him and not ripped from being changed to a dragon.
Let's take the wins where we can. I'm glad he has clothes on.
Yeah,
mean-
I mean,
Yes.
So I'm either no clothes or perfect clothes. They shouldn't be singed because that shows that it actually affected it.
How would you show that
well, the
Eustace
clothes
had
are
disappeared?
singed, but
out of
they're not
curiosity?
ripped.
What would you show if for Eustace disappearing out of curiosity? If we're gonna fix the clothes thing, Crimson. Because I'm trying to think if he had any items on him, and I don't think he did.
no, he
Do you have his
didn't.
journal?
No, he dropped it.
No.
Oh, okay.
What was the question?
I was asking how if we're gonna fix the clothes being the problem, you want it no singed at all or no clothes at all, right?
Yeah, because the fact that it affects the clothes in some manner, it should be far worse than that. Or it's like the Hulk problem that they kind of brought up, where he had to get stretchy pants because the clothes are affected by the size.
Well, I can tell you there's definitely parts of the fandom that wouldn't mind the no clothes on the Hulk, but
Well, yeah,
Hey
I'm sure.
yo, but
But I did like
yeah,
him flying out with the sword and everything. That was smart. I don't know if he was being cowardice or not, but it worked out.
yeah, I'd agree with
You
that.
think his plan was to return the sword, or just to get away from the fear gas?
I
it
I
could
think
be
it's a,
both.
I think it's a mix of both.
Yeah.
This Eustace has gone on an
Okay.
arc. I can believe that he realized like the point of it was to get back to the island, and he just couldn't make it because he was stabbed. Because you could see him. I mean, uh, no. I guess that would be reading too much into it. I'm fine with reading. You can read it either way. I think that's the point of it.
Heck of a throw by that lord, though. Impressive.
Yeah. Gold medalist right there. That was ridiculous.
Yeah,
And with Reepicheep saying that you got like dragon armor, meanwhile an
Yeah,
old
it
man
did
throwing a
nothing.
sword from a mile away sank into him.
Yeah. He's definitely
sword.
a
Magic
Spartan.
sword, magic sword.
You don't like the word
Um.
magic being thrown around, do you?
Well, no, it's a cop.
It is. It very much is a cop out.
Magic boat. It survived.
Um.
Magic boat.
Yeah.
I will jump potentially to my favorite scene, even though it has mediocre parts in it. I got a campfire scene in this movie.
You did. I even wrote that down. I was like, this is writer's
Yes.
campfire.
Yeah.
With
The weakest part
Reap
of it, yeah, we got
and Eustace is good.
Reap and Eustace is obviously the best part. I think Caspian Edmund is pretty middling. I just wish the what's missing for me here is that Edmund is like doesn't converse with Caspian opening up at all. Edmund just kind of just like agrees with Caspian and just like yeah, and that's goes to sleep.
Right, or
uh,
as you brought up earlier, with Eustace being brought along for things and don't know why he's brought along. I don't know why Gail's brought along for this.
yeah,
It's just
Es-
so she
es-
can have a scene with Lucy.
Her mom might be
especially
there.
especially since her dad is on the ship. I don't get it
Yeah.
either.
It's just
Um,
so they can have a scene
She
together.
wanted to explore.
yeah, I would say
Yeah, that's all
Lucy
that's
and
for.
Gail's scene is the worst of this aspect of this. There are parts that I like with the Caspian stuff. I just wish Edmund was more participatory in that conversation, so it felt more like a back and forth. And then obviously Eustace and Reepicheep, I think, is probably some of the best stuff in this film. Reepicheep noticing how like uh, scared, exhausted, or a bunch of different emotions that Eustace could have. Afraid that he's not going to turn back into a person. There's a lot, and I like that Reepicheep is the one that comforts him because they're the ones that I've connected so far in the film.
Yeah. Immediately after, what causes the blue star to appear?
The plot.
Literally the plot.
Okay. Okay, cool. A magical plot?
Yeah, because I guess so.
It
I mean, it's a magical lady.
it literally is a magical plot. It is Deus Ex Machina. This entire plot.
Well, she kind of went down to Earth at night to sleep, and then flew up there in the morning. Therefore, it was visible
Oh, gotcha.
because it is a person up there.
She has a night shift and a day
Magic plot.
shift.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, she's a star. She doesn't have to be there during the day. Actually, it's the inverse at this point. Actually,
Yeah.
she showed up
She's
during the
cursed.
day. Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, arguably she is cursed by Aslan. She's cursed to just preside over the table for however many odd years since the Telmarine lords crafted magical swords to kill all evil, somewhere between 1,300 years and now.
Yeah.
You know what? That's
So
So
okay.
yeah, Aslan
Yeah,
was gone. How did they get magic Aslan swords?
yeah. He was gone, right? Why would Magic Aslan also give the Telmarines the magic swords to kill all evil in Narnia, considering that they were oppressing the Narnians?
Um, I feel like that's really bad, or we're missing something.
this what was it stated when the swords were given?
No, I have to infer.
Okay, it could have been directly after the Pevensies left and Prince Caspian, and they're taking out the other two territories in Narnia, Lesser Narnia, and then before the voyage of the lords. Within that 3-year gap, they were crafted because nothing said Aslan hasn't been around for all that time for anybody. It was just said in Prince Caspian, Aslan has been around for that time. So it is a gray
Except,
area, not stated by anyone, that it could have been made in that time of the past 3 years.
What I don't understand is like why the
well, it was
Telmarines.
Miraz's lords. It wasn't Caspian's.
Well, no, I mean
So it was
Caspian.
before Miraz died.
I mean, remember, there's like 9 Caspians before Miraz. Because our Caspian's Caspian the 10th.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there is a bloodline here. The Caspians could have sent all these lords off to kind of atone for the sins with whatever they did with Narnia, but I feel like that's something that needs to be explicitly stated. And it would clearly have to be in the last century, theoretically, because
It is,
the lords are still alive.
yes.
So it is said that when Caspian's father died, Miraz was going after these 7 lords to, get rid of them,
Oh, because they were
which is
loyal
why,
to the crown?
so they fled for their own
Oh,
safety.
interesting. Okay.
Which means the swords were given before Caspian took over. Or our
Mhm.
Caspian.
Yes. And by
So they
what's said in
already
this previous movie, Aslan wasn't around.
Mhm. They already had the sword. They just fled because of the Caspian the Ninth's death and Miraz wanting to take them out.
Okay. That checks out. I guess my follow-up question to that is just why do they have the magical swords that can shut everything down?
No
Because
idea.
they're not Narnians originally. They came to yeah.
You know
That's
what,
kind of where I'm getting at. I
Ryder?
have
I
no
think
idea either.
this could have been explained in the Boy and the Horse. Maybe.
I mean, all they had to say was Aslan granted the 7 swords to the Narnian leaders, and when the
So the
Telmarinians
Narnian,
took
yeah,
over, they took the swords, and
yeah.
that's it.
Well, what you would do is right, because these Narnian these Telmarines fled, right? So Aslan
Mhm.
gave the Telmarines the chance to redeem themselves and gifted them these swords to, yeah, something in that line I think would work.
But that would have been
Yes.
during the time he was not a Narnia anymore.
Yeah.
I
So
I think it's
I'm an issue
feasible,
flawed
but
guy
it's
for
not
me.
explained. I have it as a nitpick.
Or an
It's
issue.
certainly on the damage ladder, but it's just not highlighted in the movie.
The
And Ryder,
shot of them are
whoa, I was gonna say, Ryder, where's it on your damage,
Um.
if at all?
Yeah. I'm because the magic system is kind of in general ununderstandable anyways. I mean, I'm thinking of how what I know that could just drop these in without Aslan having to make an appearance. Aslan could have just given them the swords via a portal or something, because we know he can teleport people in this film. So I can imagine he can teleport swords as gifts. So he could have just not made an appearance at all and just dropped it to the exiles. So he never made an appearance in Narnia, but he could have he could have gifted the swords to the
Pretty good faith.
exiled. Yeah, exactly. That being said, because it is pretty good faith, there's nothing. I'm basing this off of. I'm doing all the writing for the writers. That's a problem. So I'm probably also at a Nick. I'm at a Nick, I think.
Okay. And Kai, to get your involvement in this, you probably don't know what the damage ladder is. So on a scale from 1 to 10, how much of a problem is this for you,
Mm, I
if at all?
I guess for me, I think it would be more of like a nitpick, not really too damaging, I don't think.
Okay.
All right. Them returning to the real world through the painting was a reverse shot because they're dry when
Yes.
they emerge.
Yes.
It looked good.
It did look good. It was pretty believable the way they were floating around in there, but it was a reverse shot.
Filming techniques, everybody.
Filming technique. And I'm glad it's not a reverse of the first shot. It is a different thing.
Yes. It is not a reused
They could
scene.
have gone really lazy with that.
And I would have actually tackled that one. That would have, yeah.
But
I find it.
once again, we talked about the time.
Oh,
Haha, I'm sticking with it. I'm gonna toss in the ball. The timing of real world and Narnia time. The mom or whoever's calling for Eustace doesn't acknowledge that they're screaming when they're getting taken to Narnia,
Mm,
and that like Paula or whatever the family friend is there, who wasn't there when they left. So it's kind of hard to tell if time has passed relevantly in
this
the
is
real world.
this is the first instance where it does come across that time has passed in the real world.
Yeah, and they didn't acknowledge screaming and yelling upstairs.
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest. The dad wouldn't have.
yeah.
No, he wouldn't have. But the mom was there
We don't-
apparently. So
Okay. Yeah, that's certainly a difference. But the time thing already.
wow, Narnia's not consistent. Wow.
Yeah, the time difference is already way up there, so that just chalks into it.
All right, go ahead, Springs.
Okay. I thought it was kind of funny with the essentially blue fairy coming down the blue star, explained to everyone, this is Aslan's table. Please feel free to eat after. I wrote his name down. It's not Mr. Gibbs. It's
It's
Drinian,
the quartermaster.
the quartermaster. Yeah, who I thought it was so cool when he grabs that orange, just like nonchalantly. But when he goes on and explains to Caspian, we either turn back now because we've been at sea, I think, for 14 days, and they're on rations. So it makes sense that the whole crew is hungry because Caspian said, no, we will continue with our quest on what we're doing. The more time has passed, that everyone's practically starving at Aslan's table to eat, and they're allowed to. Yet the blue star goes, but you three, Lucy, Edmund, and Caspian, I know you're starving, but, come with me. You don't get to eat right now.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
I just
But,
thought it was funny
they are
rather
kind of
than
on the
letting them
clock.
all, but letting them all like have a meal together, which could have been a whole nother scene of like talking maybe about Aslan and Aslan's table, the three at the end of the table who are frozen of the lords, or the blue star there at the table, like something there. No, it's just like, oh, you three are starving, but you're gonna come with me, and we won't see them actually eat anything.
Yeah, I agree. They could have spent a little bit more time on this. I mean, this one is the shortest film of the three by like half an hour.
Yes.
So they probably could have crammed a little bit more in if they wanted to. Like adding a bad guy, for instance.
Adding and building a proper.
That's probably one of my
antagonist
biggest
at the beginning.
annoyances of this is it just doesn't. It feels hollow. It feels like there's nothing being worked towards, even though there is.
Yeah, I mean and this is a story anyway. The easiest thing to do is just have a ship chasing them.
Ooh, the dreaded
You just
Pirate
want Mr.
Roberts.
Standard.
Or the equivalent to the Flying Dutchman in Narnia. That would be pretty cool.
Ooh, Davy Jones.
Yeah.
That'd be something. The Dawn Treader
Tokyo,
would
yeah.
not survive.
Well, yeah, they would have to
No.
be like it would have to be a similar ship. I can't give them cannons or
Yeah.
anything. That'd be a same like
Dawn Treader doesn't even have cannons.
Yeah, exactly. It'd have to be a same like
No.
style ship
No.
that's chasing them with black sails. It'd be an interesting antagonist to add, I think.
What if it was the dad? What if it was Gale's dad?
And he was the dreaded
And we don't
pirate
know that
Roberts.
up to the. Well, we just don't know he's the one following this whole time.
You're the secret bad guy.
They took. Well, no, not a bad guy, but they took Gale for protection because of this whole slave trading thing, and they didn't know where her mom was because she got taken, or dad is. He may be not in that scene.
Mm.
And then they've been followed by this other ship this whole time, and it's been a ticking time bomb, a little more tension to the movie to not just like take care of Dark Island, but someone's following them, and then it's revealed to be Gale's dad.
Yeah, I mean, Gale's dad could have a whole Treasure Planet arc as like a mentor on the ship or something, and turns out he's a bad guy.
Maybe, but I prefer the
Yeah.
dad not to be a John Silver.
Valid.
I prefer reverse Aslan
Oh, Nega Aslan again?
and Laza or whatever the flip of that would be.
Ooh.
I'm
Is
not
he a
sure how I
tiger?
would. I'm not sure how I would want to implement that. It's a good concept, right? It would be difficult to implement because how.
It's
Is-
essentially adding the devil, right?
Yeah, it's essentially adding the devil.
Essentially.
So
I mean, Aslan's the embodiment of light, and then we have Dark Island, where it's just emitting pure
Yeah.
evil. It feels like the
But you kinda
opposite
have
of
that with the White
Aslan should
Witch.
be in play. Well, she's not. She's just an evil person. She's not the embodiment of evil. This is evil
True,
Island.
true. Yeah, but
it's cool.
I'm just
I
going off
don't
of the
know
first
how.
movie. She kills Aslan, but
It's cool. I don't know how I would implement like their influence throughout the story, because Aslan's also supposed to be kind of all powerful. So unless the devil is explicitly just fucking with our characters for fun, it's kind of hard to power scale balance that.
Yeah, I mean, you could have Aslan protecting him from afar, or something along those lines.
It's true. Like I said,
It just seems more interesting and engaging.
It requires work to implement, but I'm not against it inherently.
my favorite, I think, in this whole movie, my favorite effect look is the rocks in the water turning out to be the sea serpent. I think
Mm.
that looked really
Oh,
darn
that's
cool.
decent.
Yeah.
I think the Lucy turning into Susan looked really good for this.
That was a really good fade.
Yeah. Both times. The first time was the best, but both times they did it looked good.
I suppose that can go on to the casting director. That in the first movie they were cast to look like sisters.
I suppose. I go more to the effects team. But yeah, they did. That was pretty darn good effects there.
Ryder, I have a question for you because I feel like you would know it more than Crimson. Or apologies to Kai too. I don't know. Kai, maybe you're the big expert on. Why is the figurehead of the Dawn Treader hollow?
When you say hollow, you mean like there's
How Edmund's able to come out the mouth of it from inside the ship?
Okay. Yeah, that's purely a design choice. So because it's like an old-timey ship, my best guess is a lot of rams are designed that way because once a ram latches onto something, the opening would kind of allow it to kind of latch on to whatever it was rammed into. Does that make sense? A little bit more?
Yes.
I could see that.
So
Yeah.
like
It would
it's not
hold it in place.
it's not like as effective as a hook or anything, but it would help hold the ship close, or it would help hold whatever they rammed.
Mm.
and to be clear, I am spitting out of my ass because I'm not 100% sure. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to. I'm
Okay.
trying to think. I'm thinking of the triremes that the Greeks used to use, because Greek triremes used to have rams, and thinking about how those rams are designed, they're kind of concaved teeth at the edge of the ram. So it is, I think, a design that's meant to like just make it difficult to separate itself from.
Okay.
Well, that sounded professional and audible to me, so I'll go with it.
Sure. I don't know
That's
if
my-
Edward Kenway would be for it, but okay.
It's my best guess.
Edmund should have died there, though. He should have been munched. He was very lucky.
Yeah, they're all pretty lucky.
There's a lot of plot armor. I agree.
Yeah.
The sea serpent took forever to destroy the boat. That's for sure. Should have
did.
been easy.
Am I the only one who found it funny that Lord Roop, the psycho guy who gets knocked out, I'm glad he got knocked out. He was a lunatic. But just imagining during this whole battle, his body's just slumping around back and forth on the boat.
Now that you bring it up,
That is
yeah,
funny.
that's pretty funny. Yeah.
The boat's rocking, sea
I can see
serpent
that the Pirates of
attacking.
the Caribbean great.
He should be like just going up and down the deck.
It's funny to imagine he just ragdolling back
Banging
and
his
forth.
head on the railing and stuff.
That could have added a humor element to it, but
Well, it's not supposed to be funny right there. But the White Queen is
no. But
there.
She gets 3 scenes in this movie. It's crazy.
More than you
She's
remembered,
on
though, right?
She's on the cover of the film. I don't.
She is. Well, it's because they don't have a bad guy to put on the poster.
I guess not. Can't really just put green
Let's
mist.
put this green mist. Yeah, that, very interesting for a poster.
Now, Crimson, you
Yes.
being this film, we kind of timey-wimey recording got pushed a bit. We were chatting a little bit of it to today's recording day, and you really tried to pry stuff out of me to get me to answer things for you. But you brought up a point that I'd like to hear. I don't want to steal it from you, is what I'm getting at.
Can I get a clue? Because I don't remember.
Eustace in water.
Ah, yes.
Oh.
Now I know what you're talking about. So I guess we have to assume he swam all the way out there from the island that the swords are at to meet them after the darkness.
They should have just had Aslan
Yeah,
teleport him
2
back.
minutes.
It would have been so
Does
much
that
easier.
sound like something Eustace would do when the last time we saw them they were fighting a sea serpent, which is what made him fly away?
He's brave now.
And that was as a dragon?
He's brave now.
That's the excuse.
Sure.
He's brave now.
Well, I mean,
Magically
He's
brave.
brave now.
I mean, to be fair, he did the mission. He
Yeah, I
knows
don't
the
know.
sword
know.
thing succeeded in banishing the evil, so maybe he could. I don't think he'd be afraid about swimming back. I do think he's still teleported, though.
100%
It is quite a
teleportation.
trick to swim.
Not
yeah.
by Aslan.
No.
Mhm.
The plot teleported him, not
No,
Aslan.
he's-
That's
He's
fine.
supposed to be a smart person, and most people wouldn't want to swim in open seas, especially when they don't know where they are. Kind of ripe for death.
Okay. You can see the Dark
Especially when
Island
there's sea monsters.
from where the swords are, so I think Eustace could
miles
see
away.
the ship. Yes,
hang
I
on,
don't know
Light
why he would
Island.
swim miles, but my point is here, like the it is strictly just a character teleportation for the plot. Eustace would not be
Yeah, it's
afraid of
just
the
a-
danger
If he was
because the
riding one of
danger is
those water
gone.
mermaids, that would be perfect.
Oh, yeah. From like Sinbad?
No, from
Yeah, or from this movie.
from
Yeah.
Narnia, yes, but
It's the water wraiths in here, but they did look very similar to.
They did, but they didn't have those sinister grins.
These weren't evil ones.
I did like the flip of Lucy waving, thinking it was a wave goodbye, not a warning wave
yeah,
of don't go over there.
That
Oh,
was
that
nice.
was nice.
I do like it's a bit of a payoff. I like that Reepicheep is able to encourage Eustace to go into the Dark Cloud or whatever, Dark Island. Because Eustace takes one look at it and just goes, "Yeah, no, I'm out," and then Reepicheep has to encourage him, which is very much a Reepicheep thing to do. It continues the bond that they've started forming, which again, one of the best aspects of the film.
Yeah. Good arc between both characters. Because you don't have Mr. Badger in this one. Because
Yes.
Reep didn't really bounce off of Caspian that much in the second film.
Yeah, I will say that Reepicheep has
really.
definitely been nerfed.
Oh yeah.
Well, if we're going with the possibility that he was by himself in his introduction in Prince Caspian. Kai, I think you were the
We
one
never
who
see
said
the
it
other
was
mice.
with
or
the
mice.
other mice.
Yes, I said he wasn't alone. There were more.
Okay.
I
I
mean,
don't,
yeah, I mean, I
I don't
see
know
him
how
take out.
severely nerfed.
Yeah, I see him take out a bunch of Telmarines on his own. So I'm still in the camp. He's nerfed. It's not too bad, but it's noticeable in the sense that like the people he jumps on aren't instantly dying, because that's what happened in Prince Caspian. Whereas here he like, obviously I think it's to censor blood, because it's kind of hard to hide like a big
Actually,
rat slicing your throat open. But
that's a good question. Does anyone die in this movie?
Reepicheep.
Okay, in a way,
I mean,
The mist.
yeah. Okay, you got me there. The green mist does die.
And I mean, there's representations of death, like Gold Lord and Skeleton Lord.
Yeah, but going with
are
all the
dead.
bubbles, not dead.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's not dead. Skeleton one is 100% dead though.
True, but we didn't see him die. He's just
No.
already dead. I don't think anyone really dies in this movie.
Eustace's dragon form died.
That doesn't count. Now you're just reaching.
Yeah. Okay. I got one. I got
My
one.
patience
So
I'm just saying, from the two previous movies where there's wars and battles of people being thrown off cliffs and dying and being shot by arrows, no one dies in this one.
I mean, Lucy arguably, the immature self dies so that the new mature
That's
growth.
that's the same thing with the Eustace dragon. No.
Yeah. No. I think the only character deaths, if there are any, were like the crew members that we don't know or meet because they were fighting a giant fucking serpent.
Yeah, the nobodies.
Yeah.
Did none of the
I
slave
think,
traders die at the ledger or whatever?
Yeah. Well, the slave traders died. Then no, they died when the Narnians probably freed the captives. That's when the slave traders would have been killed. We don't see any on-screen deaths, though. I know Reepicheep actually kills one of them because we see them fall over, but I don't think we see, like, no main character deaths, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Nobody of consequence. The Minotaur doesn't die.
No. He has his name. Tauros.
Wow, good genius name. Tor. That's great. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
I know.
It's like Badger, Beaver. Good stuff.
I mean, they kept it simple.
I was going to shrug and
Yeah,
say,
and then
I
there's
agree. I don't have an issue with it, I guess.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
it's
not just
possible
called
to have
Minotaur.
that name. No.
I forget, did the General
Cool little
Minotaur in the first movie have a name?
Yes, but I
don't
don't remember it. I know he
recall.
does have a general. I kind of want to.
She calls him over in the camp. And
Yeah.
Stuff.
I want to say it's General Kale, but I know that's Willow.
It's not General Cal. Nope.
Yeah, but not Gale.
It's not Grievous either.
No, not General Grievous.
God, what a movie if General Grievous was in it. In Narnia?
This would be a better movie.
That would be awesome.
Dude, he collects the dragon like treasure and like add it to my collection, and then he
No,
turns
he
into a
spreads out
giant
his
robotic
arms. He's
dragon.
got all 7 swords.
And then Obi-Wan's
There we
collective
go.
sass somehow solves everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eustace could
Big
say, "I
wizard.
have the high ground," as he's a dragon. Great stuff.
Oh,
And then we come to the
Yeah.
island, and it's Obi-Wan, who everyone confuses for Jesus, and then it has Aslan's beside him.
Oh no.
Wow. They go to a volcanic island.
Mm.
General Ottman.
Mustafar. General Atman. Ottman?
Ottman.
Connections.
Otmin. General Ottman.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've gotten that. I don't know if any of you noticed, but while they're looking up at the stars, Aslan's face was up there.
I didn't.
I didn't either.
I can't actually tell if you're bullshitting me, Crimson.
No, it is. Well, now I feel like I have to look.
Is
it
this
up and
during the
post it.
campfire scene?
I
Yeah,
need to
when they're
I
looking up
need
at the
to see
stars.
proof.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see if I can find it. But yeah, it was up in the stars.
Yeah. Please. That would be cool. It would be a nice detail. Aslan is still watching over them.
Oh my god. 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 8 seconds.
It's there?
Well, you found that fast.
It's yeah.
It's there.
Ish.
All right. Post a
Oh, man,
screenshot.
I
I can pull it up for
Completely
I can
missed
pull it.
that.
Yeah, please share.
I'll bring it
Oh,
on
I
for the
haven't.
OBS
Well,
audience.
I'm glad I picked that up. All right, it's not obvious, but it is.
No.
Okay, so
It
it's
is
a
not
detail
obvious.
there for the observant viewer. Okay. I guess I'm happy it wasn't obvious, because I would feel stupider.
Yeah, it's not a thing that most kids would probably notice or anything. Well, I guess with that, Ryder, you want to throw out something?
Sure. Again, I think I claimed about it earlier, but I'll go in a little bit more depth now. A lot of the payoffs here at the end, like Caspian's speech, Edmund and Caspian reconciling, Lucy being okay with her appearance now. I feel like a lot of these lack the depth that would give them more meaning because they're all good scenes, but I feel like they lack the support that would make them great scenes. So they're good scenes in isolation, but I feel like they lack supporting scenes that would make these their respective scenes better.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a general writing complaint that I have with it because again, this is excluding Eustace and Reepicheep because I think that's the best arc in the movie because I went from not really liking Eustace's character at all to liking him, which I think is a hallmark of what they were actually trying to do.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that brings up a question. Who's your favorite character in this one?
Reepicheep.
Ooh, that's a down the line question.
It is a down the line. So, okay, Reepicheep. Me. I don't find many people that compelling in this one. I'll probably also say Reepicheep, but not by a lot. All right, Springs.
Mr. Tumnus.
Try again.
You gave me the opportunity. I had to take it.
It had to come up, yeah.
Nah, yeah, I had to. It's
I'm glad he's been
Reepicheep
dead for
too.
1,300 years.
Yeah, it's probably Reepicheep too.
Okay.
Yeah, overall, Reepicheep is the favorite.
To kind of add on to that, I actually quite like as well that Reepicheep's ending, like him.
It makes me
What
sad.
it is actually sad and heartfelt. I'm like, okay, you know what? It was one of the payoffs that I think the film actually earned because Reepicheep was
It comes from the
heroic.
second movie.
Yeah, he's heroic, noble from the second movie. He carries those traits here. He's mentoring somebody, and
Sees Aslan as a great being.
yeah.
Mhm.
High respect.
And the fact that Aslan is willing says like his country is made for people like Reepicheep is a nice touch because it gives credence to how hard Reepicheep has worked both undercover trying to overthrow the Telmarine Empire and also just continuing to be a noble knight in what were probably dark times that we didn't see.
Mm.
And that carrying over into mentoring what is to us as audience is probably an unlikable character at first, but he's the one that sees potential in him and decides to mentor him, and that takes a lot of strength to take of character on Reepicheep's part. So Reepicheep's goodbye actually got me. It was a good scene, and I think it was well done and well deserved.
Yeah.
For the film of this trilogy ending with this one and not doing a fourth one, a send off to a character like that I think is very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
because there's not many legacy characters in this. Like, there's nobody from the first one
True.
outside of Aslan that's from Narnia.
Yes.
General Gozelle went to go work for the Vatican.
And the Queen and stuff like that.
So
Yeah, I guess the White Witch is
Mhm.
kind of there. I would assume we're all smart enough to know when Aslan tells Lucy, "In your world, I go by another," and like if you like, I'm there, but I'm different. That I'm guessing, did we all take that to mean Aslan is meaning like God
Yes.
in the real world?
yes, Aslan,
Mhm.
I
Okay.
think his literal name in the book is like the Lamb, which is one of the obviously the big symbols of divinity for God. So they didn't need to go that far and say the Lamb because it can kind of sound a bit silly if you
Yeah.
don't write it well. But yeah,
I
I think
Okay, I just find it funny as an idea, being that Aslan is a physical being that they can see and talk to, and explains in the real world, I'm there too, just different. That being from like London, that they could interpret that being the prime minister.
That would be really funny. I'm Winston Churchill in your world.
I just find that like
it
comical
would
to
it
think of
would be
if like
Winston
they tell
Churchill at
Lucy
the
and Edmund
time.
take
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It just turns out the Aslan of our world was busy fighting the Nazis. Gotta get credit where credit's due.
Fighting
Right, the bad guys of World
Nazis
War
and
II.
Daleks.
It's true.
Yeah.
Uh, Here's a weird prop thing I noticed about the movie. I don't think the wheel of the Dawn Treader works as a prop.
The
Like,
wheel?
yeah, I see the wheel doesn't turn more than like a foot. So like how in most movies
Oh,
and
you
in
gotta spin
most
it quite a while. Yeah,
in most
it's
movies
not
and
a car wheel.
in most like sail ships, you can spin the wheel around like there's always that scene where they spin the wheel around wildly. I'm not saying it needs to be here, but I don't think the props made a wheel that can spin like super quickly. It still like
They treat it
shifts a
like a
little bit.
car wheel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they treat it like a car wheel, which is it stood out to me just because I intend to enjoy a lot of seafaring films, but it's not an issue. It's just a nitpick. It could work for the Narnia. It could work for the Dawn Treader. So
I think for how small on screen is pointed out, I'll have it as a nitpick. But if there was like a scene where it's like, turn this ship around or something, and they just, go 90 degrees with the wheel, then it definitely stands out more.
yeah, I mean the only
Yeah, the
time where they
closest
would
thing would be them trying to steer the serpent.
steer the serpent and also then the storm. Those would be the two times that you'd really show that the wheel can spin a lot. They don't do that. It's fine. It's not needed. It's just just a subjective nitpick because I like my wheel spins on my ships.
Yeah. Now, I am quite similar to Kai here now, being that I'm pretty much out of notes.
Wow, that's
Uh,
actually surprising. How are you looking, Ryder?
I can squeeze out a couple more, but I'm getting near the end here myself, and I've been jumping around, so I need to do some extra looking. But off the top of my head, I quite like that we're teased what Aslan Country looks like. The idea of paradise that we can't see beyond. But we can't see beyond like the standing ocean wave.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think
It's a
that's
nice,
completely fine.
yeah, it's a nice
I don't think we
artful
need to
way.
see it. Yeah.
Yeah. It lets the imagination do the work in an artful way.
Yeah.
It was cool to see land beyond the waves. It's not just a fog or something. There is something beyond it.
Yeah.
So
And I
I
think
did like
that's
them choosing to do that.
I think that's what I like about it, because you can still see something tangible even if the details are very sparse. So it still gives you a foundation to let your imagination fill the gaps. That rhymed.
Indeed. And this water portal, far better than that stupid tree one where you don't see squat.
Yes.
Far superior.
Yeah, I can
It,
agree.
it sounded like a tepid yes.
I had to think about the tree one again. Yes, I agree. The tree one, nothing. It's just gone. This one, you do see a path and the water, and
And they get to
Yeah.
look back and give one last final kind of goodbye look.
yeah,
Yeah.
Because Lucy knows she's not coming back, so I think that's also important to do that, because Narnia is the most important thing to Lucy of all the other Pevensies. Like the Pevensies love Narnia, but it's special for Lucy.
Yeah.
yeah. She's the one who keeps
Plus,
wanting
Lucy
to go
has
back.
time. She's on ability.
Well,
She theoretically could come back, even though Aslan said, "This
well,
is your last
Aslan kind of said no.
adventure."
Yeah, but Eustace,
Ah.
Eustace could.
Yep.
Hey, Caspian could just blow the horn, okay, and then boom, they're back.
And boom, Eustace is back.
Yeah,
Boom, Lucy is back.
it would be Eustace.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of the same thing with Peter and Susan, where Aslan was like, "You've learned all you can from this world. You must learn more in your own."
Yeah, but it wouldn't be the same now that Reap's quote unquote dead. If Eustace came back,
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
would be sad. His one and only friend. He also seems like he probably doesn't have friends in the real world either.
Yeah, no.
That makes
Yeah.
it
he
even
has
more
his
sad.
bugs.
How do you want
Yeah.
to wash?
You were saying something, right?
Right, did you find another one?
Yes, I did. This is probably my last one. But it's a complaint that, again, I don't really get much of Edmund and Lucy being siblings once they're in Narnia.
Well, that's the two separated plots. They don't really have their pairing isn't together.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone else gets paired up to people, but they don't intermingle.
Yeah, but that kind of ties into one of the complaints you had about Caspian Springs, about how the siblings didn't they weren't necessarily paired off, but there wasn't as much interaction between them as siblings as there was in the first film.
Yeah,
We
like I
have the
think there should have
beginning.
been a scene. Or sorry,
No. I mean, I was gonna just give comparisons. Like we have the beginning of Caspian where they're all rummaging through they're playing on the water, and then they rummage through Cair Paravel together. But once they get to the How, they're kind of all on their own like path, and they don't really interact much
yeah. It's just
outside
the
of
pairings I
important
think
plot
take
relevant stuff.
away. Yeah, you could have had a scene of the dad and Gale talking about their mom to drive up more like the fear of the green mist. You could have Reap and Caspian talking about Eustace and how he's like changing on the boat, and then have Edmund and Lucy. So then the whole movie of characters feel more interconnected to one another versus these two, these two, these two.
Yeah, because I feel like there's a point where Lucy and Edmund would have talked about how Narnia is now, like what's changed, like why they feel why, because the first two times they were in Narnia, they were involved in some grand scale wars and stuff like that, and here they're more or less just on a voyage, and I feel like that's something they would talk about, you know.
Well, in Narnia, do Lucy and Eustace have a scene together? Do
By
they talk to
themselves
each
and
other at all in Narnia?
Yes, they do. They have a couple scenes where they talk to each other, but it's not
Okay.
like they're alone when that happens. Usually Edmund's there, or when they're on the rowboat at the end going towards Aslan country. They have some stuff together.
I mean, I know they're there together, but them talking to each other.
I think she says one thing to him, going to the slave trader door. I think she said something to him there.
So they,
But
they do
that's
interact, but
nothing.
it's plot relevant stuff, not character relevant stuff, which is really what I guess is lacking for me as far as like the sibling dynamic, and eventually Eustace being like a third wheel to that sibling dynamic, and of it being incorporated in after Reepicheep, you know.
Yeah. Odd.
And I guess I'm out of
All right.
points.
Okay, I guess one for me is at 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 26 seconds. It's, when Eustace is flying as a dragon for the first time towards the ship, you get like a shadow casting on like the cliff face or the rocks of the island as he approaches the ship. That shadow would not be cast from where we see the sun at. It's nitpicky.
Person, you
but,
said 1 hour, 2 minutes, and
26 seconds.
26.
Yeah, his shadow's casted almost opposite of the sun. Like it's completely in the wrong spot for where the sun is. But it's to get the cool
Movie magic.
shadow of an emerging dragon because we don't really see him yet.
Okay. Yes, pulling up, I agree. Movie magic.
Yeah.
Unless there's some kind
And
of
I guess
light
that's
emitting stronger behind him. But
which is not likely. Brighter than the sun.
yeah. Oh, it's him. I got it. He just spelled out that message, so the light burning from that is emitting his shadow onto that section.
Mm.
There you go.
Good one,
Easy
good one.
cleanup.
We consider
Yeah.
that.
And you might be like, well, that wouldn't be bright enough. Magical fire. Duh.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm
Naturally.
just cleaning it up for you. I'm hoping. Yeah.
Why didn't the magician guy join them on their adventure? His magic would be helpful.
The oppressor, he had to stay behind.
He had to
He had
protect
to
the
protect
island.
that sanctum's.
Yeah, he is trying to
Centaur.
protect the Duffel creatures, right? Is it Duff?
I like the idea that when
Duffel
the
bottoms.
the ship left, he just immediately turned them invisible again. Just like the idea.
He could have.
Against their will, just popped them invisible again.
His reasoning was valid. He wanted to protect them.
And then the book version, he punishes them and makes them stand on one foot.
Yeah, it's
Good thing we don't have that
flip-flop.
version.
Does he also not care that Lucy ripped out a page from his book?
That
He
whole scene
makes
was
no sense
weird.
'cause
He wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, that whole scene is weird.
Yeah.
He has no reason not to interrupt what Lucy's doing. He's just like
He can
browsing the
We
stacks.
know invisible people can see people.
It's kind of like it's kind of implied that he's like doesn't exist in the dimension until the spell is cast, which is really weird because we know that from the people outside
It's really weird.
they're tangible.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense really.
Mm-mm.
And I don't know why the angel would open the book for her and stuff as well. Random little thing.
Well, it hinted at it.
Unscramble it.
Lucy still put out a breath of air for it.
Just don't know the motive of that little wooden angel.
Odd.
All right. Well, if no one's got anything else, we'll jump into the ratings section.
Yeah, I'm good. If I come up with something, recap it.
Recap it. I'm sure we'll remember. Let's start with Sprinx's ratings.
Oh boy, great. Let's start with my objective. This is not a really well-made movie. I think there are some scenes that look really good, like the sea serpent rocks, I think look really good. The sea serpent itself, I think, is a really cool design. Eustace dragon design's really cool. The CGI look of that. The green mist, here and there. I think even the blue fairy or the blue star, I think looks okay, just like glowing blue. Reap looks pretty good for the CGI on him, and I suppose also the Minotaur, because I questioned how much CGI usage was in that. So the CGI overall is fine. I think the acting is okay. No one's really, I think, doing like a phenomenal acting job, but no one's bad. I could even kind of go with Eustace as one of the best actors in the movie because he really portrays the whiny annoyance pretty darn well. The cinematography is middle of the road, kind of bad. It's very bumpy. I don't know how to describe it. It doesn't feel right, and I think that could also go with the editing in the movie. Feels very chunked. It doesn't really feel like fluid or flowing, and that could also go into the story, where the story is very much like we go here, what next? We go here, what next? We go here. End of movie. The lighting, I think lighting's pretty darn well overall. The music, I think the music's pretty good. Not as whimsical as the previous movies, but it's not bad. And costume design, I think costume design looks pretty good amongst all the characters. But I kind of lean, there's more bad in this movie, just like pacing, editing, cinematography, writing, that I have this at objective 4.5. It's not the worst movie ever made, but it definitely, with how we've talked and with writer brain objective writing for the writers, could have been a lot stronger of a film, especially for the third in a franchise, and this isn't the start. So they're basing it off previous works. So, subjectively, though, and this is the one why I saved for the second, because I feel like this is a little more shocking, I subjectively have this at a 6, which matches my subjective for Prince Caspian. I have them about equal in enjoyment level. I find different things I like between the two and things I dislike about between the two differently, but I still hold them about the same enjoyment level. What I do enjoy about this one more than Caspian is this more big world, more magical creatures, more fantasy element than just kind of like a medieval setting. But what I like about Prince Caspian more is a very fluid story than this one being very just kind of generic quest. So,
Okay, well, not super shocking, but surprising nonetheless. Ryder, you can go next.
Alrighty, I'll do my objective first. Um, so, uh, what had happened for man, how do I even break this down? I think it was you, Sprinks. I don't remember if you said it was. I don't remember if you said it off the podcast, but I remember you saying that this is like the Hobbit movies to what Lord of the Rings are. This would be what to the Hobbit movies are to the to the
I
first
may
two.
have said that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was you. I kind of agree with that. Because my takeaway with this, objectively and subjectively, with both, is I very much think that um, I very much think that there is a level of there's
Words.
aspects to, like, yeah, words not can I, what can I say, there's levels to the film that I think are good. That they're like, I think the Reepicheep and Eustace stuff here is bordering on fucking excellent in terms of like how their story progresses. It makes not only consistent logical sense, it mm, is has a lot of heart in that story in of itself. And then there's a lot of bad as well that are incorporated into the film. I there's not really much going in for Caspian and Edmund's dynamic. They hate each other for they almost tried to kill each other, which is should be kind of a shocking event for both of them, even if it was under a spell. Especially if they both are. So I think ultimately, I The world building is still okay. I've been rambling, so I'm gonna just go right into what I normally do. The plot is meandering. It's very much goes from place to place to place. It's very loose in terms of how, I guess, the connective tissues. It's very convenient, the things that push the plot forward, with some very little Deus Ex Machinas that make appearances. Um, I think the world building is as a mess as is still a mess as it ever usually is. Um, and I think the characters, their arcs aren't like the best ones you would think to pick for the characters. Um, like with Lucy's arc, we talked about a lot about how vanity was not really a character trait she had, but she's developed. It's not a it's are very archetypal, the story that they're telling with her, but it doesn't feel like it plays to the character's strengths, which is why I'm kind of listening this down as a character nick. It's not inconsistent necessarily, but a it's still um it's still difficult in terms of, I guess, what you might have chosen to do with said character. Um, Edmund, I kind of say the same thing. The inadequacies of Peter, I can sort of read that into the previous films a little bit, but I wish there was more to go on, because that would also have helped feed into the dynamic of Caspian. Caspian's stress as a king, not really in the movie. I have to just kind of infer that it's there in order for the payoffs to make sense. So there's a lot of that goes around for the characters. The exceptions being Reepicheep and Eustace. Um, and yeah, the world building, the magic, doing a lot of stretches. I made a lot of devil's advocates arguments in this. It's kind of one of the core issues with how the magic is supposed to work here. The first hour of the movie, I probably would have given this a 3.5. It was ranging towards bad territory for me. I do think they put enough stuff in here that is of quality to raise it into like the lowest end of my average scale. It is a 4, I think, objectively. I think again, the strongest stuff here is the Reepicheep and Eustace stuff, and there is a lot of good ideas that are in here that the characters are at least incorporated in with, and so there is functional stuff here. There is heart.
Great,
I just wish there was
great
more.
characters in a poor film.
Yeah, I just wish there was more heart. Yeah. And subjectively, I again, it's gonna sound very similar. I was probably bouncing in the 3 to 4 range the first hour until I realized what Reepicheep and Eustace were doing, and I am a sucker for that kind of storytelling. That it pulled it into the average for a movie for me. I'm at a solid 5.5 subjectively in the middle. It's a good movie. I enjoyed it. I'm probably not, if I miss a movie during the rewatch, it's going to be this one, as I have continued to do so my whole life. But I'm not opposed to watching it again, if only for Reepicheep.
Yeah, it definitely feels the most different.
Yeah.
Certainly. All right, and Kai, you can do yours. As long or short as you'd like.
Um, so this movie is not my favorite. I've said that a few times now. Um, as an overall rating, though, I would probably give it like a 6, 5.5 to a 6. Um, just because the ending is really what I do like about the movie. It's the part of the movie where I feel the most invested. But yeah, as an overall rating, I would give it like a 5.5 or a 6.
All
Okay.
right. And I guess because we average out our scores and stuff, are you able to pin it down to one of those two?
I'd probably pin it to a 6.
Okay. All right, and I guess that leaves me. This is my least favorite of the trilogy. Shocking. Who would have guessed? Uh, I guess my enjoyment of it has gone up slightly since the first time I saw it. First time I saw it was like a 4 range. I'm now at a 4.5. I still don't really want to see it again. All the magic I felt in the previous two just feel absent in this, excluding the ending with Aslan. I feel like Aslan is Narnia at this point. You don't get
Yeah.
the family dynamic in this. The characters don't entirely feel like themselves here, except for Reepicheep and Aslan. I feel like Lucy is different because of the character trait of the vanity stuff. And Edmund just, you like Peter in the previous one, was just cranked to a level that doesn't make sense to me. Just to add some conflict with Caspian, which also is not fully realized. So it does take away from my enjoyment of it. And the overall journey they take, the gold pond or pool is cool. I would have liked more time with it. The dragon treasure and the petrified lords at the table were cool, but also barely anything in the story. It's just a little cool thing to add, and more reasons for the swords to be there instead of having to hunt like 7 different islands.
Uh,
Uh, so
sorry.
4.5 on the enjoyment. Go ahead, Ryder.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I just thought of this now. Would the film have been improved if we got a bigger backstory on who the Telmarine lords are, or are they still are they serviceable as just MacGuffins for the story?
I don't
I
think we
think they're
need more of them.
serviceable. Yeah, if you're gonna add more time in this movie, put it somewhere else. Doesn't need to be with those.
The,
Yeah.
the first one on the slave island is probably the best, and I don't think we need much more than that.
Okay, yeah, I'm in agreement. I just wanted to ask.
Mhm. Objectively, I think this is not good. I think the visuals, the visual effects in particular, in large, are okay. The first one, I think, looks better than this, which is crazy because of how much time has passed between them. Aslan is an improvement. Water looks decent. Serpent looks eh. The fog, in some ways, looks good. Some ways, looks bad. The way the queen looks, I think, does look good as the like apparition. They didn't put as much love into the father fog because that doesn't look as good as her. A lot of the characters have plot armor. Like the entire ship should have been destroyed by the sea serpent in like 30 seconds, but it was playing around with them for some reason, even though there's no reason for it to play around with them. There's no origin to this green mist, and I do think it is plot relevant and is required. I don't think it's in the movie's benefit to be completely vague to its origin or motives, other than it's from an evil island, evil mist, and let's plop in Aslan to fix it. I mean, it's not great. I already mentioned in my subjective segment that the Pevensies here feel slightly off, slightly heightened for these new character growth moments that don't entirely fit them from the previous films. Reepicheep and um, Eustace's dynamics, best part, echoing what's been stated already. Um, I'm not treading too much. I'm matching my subjective at a 4.5. There is certainly more bad to this than good, and that is where I'm at.
Okay, we're all equally in that ballpark. I think I'm
Roughly.
guessing this is an average 5, maybe. Like
Probably.
overall.
Yeah. Probably round up to a 5.
Yeah.
Anything else before Ryder takes us out?
I do, as a matter of fact. Actually, I wrote something being
Oh.
a finish of this trilogy, and as something we do on the podcast, if you're a fan of the recaps audience, we like giving little hints here and there. So maybe this is a little hint to next week, if you're smart enough to pick it up. Ahem. At one time, most of the Pevensies could enter Narnia, but as years passed, it stayed hidden for all of them. Even Eustace found one visit that he knew would be his last and no longer see Narnia's sweet sound. Though I've grown old, Narnia still is there for me, as it is for those who truly believe in physical media.
I hate you that I understand this reference. It was well done.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate.
There you go.
I would clap if
Um,
I didn't think that would ruin the the settings for OBS.
I guess my final thing is Ryder. Since this was held off for years, are you happy you got to finish off the trilogy?
Um, I would have said no in the first hour, but I do think the Reepicheep's goodbye doubles for me as saying goodbye to the franchise. I think I can read it as a double entendre in that vein. So I obviously apples to oranges here. It kind of hit me this in a similar, not to the depth that it did, a similar fashion to the way Robin Williams says goodbye at the end of Night at Museum 3. Um, so I think it worked for me, and I'm happy to have finished it. I'm happy I watched it. I I will probably miss this movie during rewatches, but I'm not opposed to seeing it again. Like, if it's a group of people that want to go through all of Narnia again, I would be down to watch this. I have no issue with that.
Yes. And we might revisit it. Who knows? I can't set anything in stone. But November 26th, I think is stated right now, of this year, Greta Gerwig's Narnia movie comes out.
Yeah, I'll see how that goes. I'm not too
I'm
excited.
not excited for this.
I'm just hearing about this
I know
now. I'm
Crimson
sorry.
is, it's a Netflix
what?
movie.
What? Greta Thunberg's
Yeah.
got a Narnia movie coming out?
Yes, I believe she's starting with The
Reviving the
Magician's Nephew.
franchise. Yeah.
I.
And
Oh,
Daniel Craig's cast in it, I think.
okay. All right. I will need to. I will need to mentally. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna ask you this now. Over the podcast. Are we going to cover that for the podcast potentially, or is this something we're all going to do as friends?
I'd like to aim for
knows?
us to do it. That would be cool to revisit Narnia together.
Okay. All right.
That'd be
Because
fun.
there's two versions of this, right? There's the version where I'm going to have booze and we're all going to have fun as a group, or I'm going to be
You
taking
don't know
ridiculous
that
notes.
yet. You don't know that yet.
We're getting Narnia
Listen,
back and Harry Potter in the same
I
time, relatively.
I can drink in celebration, Sprinks. Why do you think I have such a negative connotation?
That's true.
It,
That's
it
true.
could be
That's true.
it could be the best adaptation ever.
It could. We haven't covered The Magician's Nephew.
That's true. All right. Well, it is coming back. I have mixed feelings on knowing that. But
I'm surprised it hasn't come across you.
I live under a rock, okay?
Writer didn't know about Dawn Treader. I mean,
I suppose.
No, it was not. It was not Dawn Treader.
you
It
never
was,
got around to Dawn Treader. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was. What was the one I didn't know
Angels.
about? Angels was Fallen. That was the one.
Yeah, Angel's Fallen. You didn't know that existed. Anyhow, thanks, Kai, for joining us through the whole trilogy.
Thank you for
yes, thank you,
having me.
Appreciated.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
guess-
you somewhat enjoyed your time here.
I have enjoyed it immensely.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
Jinx.
I guess. Well then, gentlemen and fey creature, shall I read us out?
I believe so.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you, audience, for listening, whether it be Spotify, Amazon, Castbox, Good Pods, iHeartRadio, Podcast, and Samsung. And if it be in our visual side of things, be it YouTube, Rumble, or frickin' Spotify, thank you for watching our PNG Tuber slideshow there. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe everywhere. Tell us how much you hate our opinions or how much you love them. And as always, I've been a geeky writer.
I'm Crimson Maroon.
And I'm Sprinks and special guest.
Hi.
And we will catch you next time. Later, everybody.
Bye.
Toodaloo.